Welcome back to the New Release Podcasts, where we discuss each new main series book as it comes out. Today, that book is Chasing Shadows, not to be confused with the arc title Changing Skies. And as for who the we is, well, that would be none other than myself and my friends, Moon.
Hello.
Akira.
Hi.
And Hawkkz.
What's up, y'all?
As usual, we will be starting out by giving everyone a quick minute to just say their overall thoughts on this book before we get into the more specific topics. Moon, would you start us off this time?
I enjoyed this book fine. I was not particularly frustrated by most of this book. I do think that the last book had like a stronger emotional kind of vibe to it. It was like the last book felt a little bit like Warrior Cat's fanfiction, and this book feels a little bit more like going back to Warrior Cat's normal. But this book progresses the plot a little bit more, so
Entirely fair. My summary is up next. The problem is I have had a very hard time summarizing my thoughts about this book. I think it's overall something that I have documented proof that a lot of people enjoy, and there are things that I think are going to make for better stories and better writing and better emotional beats. Most of it I personally dislike the direction of, and I'm really trying to not let that get in the way of how I grade it. Akira, do you want to go next?
This feels like a very transitional book, and everything's setting up for later in the story arc. Except for Bramblestar, but everything else is something that doesn't really conclude in this book. So, and some of it, mixed on some on whether some of it's for the good and some of it's for the I don't know what's good. If this is a good idea, but that's my thoughts.
Yep, and that brings us to Hawkkz.
Yeah. Well, I have a little bit of a paragraph here, but I will try to be concise. I feel like coming off of the tail end of the last book, this one just absolutely escapes me. It's one of those books that isn't too ostensibly bad, but does little to nothing to actually warrant any measure of quality. I'd say the entire story could really be broken down into maybe 4 or 5 really major plot points, and the only things that really end up being something ultimately in the end either end up fizzling out or, instead are in favor of, the numerous spurious hunting or training scenes that we've all in time come to recognize as filler, outside of a single plot line with Bramblestar, which was very, very good in my opinion. I'd venture to say this book is almost skippable, or at the very least summarized completely in a few sentences. So yeah, not looking good.
All right, so I guess at this point it would be time to get into those specifics, starting with, I want to say the most complicated character, but at this point everyone's story is getting complicated, but Moonpaw, definitely the most miserable of the 3. Akira, you even released a video today about her. Fully agree there.
Yeah, basically, my video is that I talked about how Frostpaw and Shadowpaw had miserable lives, they had bad trauma they went through and stuff, and then went on to okay, and now we're doing it again with Moonpaw.
And it's an archetype that I always tend to stray away from. The characters that tend to really capture my attention specifically are the ones where their personal choices are the things most drastically impacting their story. And with the sort of tragedy cases like the Shadowsight, the Frostpaw, the Moonpaw, most of the emotional backbone from them comes from the situations happening to them. That isn't to say they don't make choices. I think Frostpaw in particular was very good about making choices by the end, but their character premise is not instantly appealing to me.
I would argue they're doing it in a different way with Moonpaw. If you look at Frostpaw and if you look at Shadowsight, Frost Dawn and Shadowsight, both of them were characters that had basically no support systems. I mean, obviously Shadowsight had Tiger Star and stuff like that, but both characters were characters that other characters would just kind of decide that they were going to ruin the lives of. And with Moonpaw, her character ruining her life is built into her body.
Yeah, that is entirely fair.
Like obviously it's a similar like narrative situation, but when you actually compare the characters, it feels different because Moonpaw in this book specifically kind of had a support system of sorts that was trying to support her.
You're absolutely correct, and actually that specific support system point is a different bullet point for me because it stuck out so much. I have been very perturbed over the last several arcs, and Warriors in general, but by how few friendships or supportive relationships cats tend to have, particularly our protagonists. And I like that Moonpaw has some. I just genuinely don't know how or if any of them can solve her conflict. It seems like a thing where they're going to have to maybe just convince Morning Kit to leave herself, I guess.
Although, I think I'm not sure that Morning Kit's gonna leave by the end of the arc because, well, I guess like she might get bored of Moonpaw, but
Do you think that Morning Kit is going to win the body?
not like that. I think, like, I don't think she's gonna fight Morning Kit. And just like thinking of the quote by a tree about where there's like your problem is that you're afraid of this. Is the problem? Your problem is that you're afraid of the spirit. Once you lose the fear, the spirit will lose its hold on you. So I think it's more about like Moonkit standing up to Morning Kit, and I'm losing my thought. But
well, if like in your video, if this is intended to be an allegory to some sort of mental illness, unclear which one, if any, it might just be mental illness in general, then the thematic resolution definitely would be learning to deal with her more. On the metaphysical side of like what's physically happening for the characters, if Morning Kit, can actually take over her body and basically blind out other cats speaking with her thoughts, if those are abilities she has, I was going to say I don't know how much mental energy will work to fight that off, but we also just had an entire end of arc about the powers of meditation, and Tree is sitting there being his sister mediator self, so maybe they are going for a meditation as a literal magical force. I'm unclear on this one.
I think that regardless of anything, Moonpaw has to have an emotional arc. Not Moonpaw, fuck. I'm sorry, Sunny, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, that's really easy to edit.
Morning Kit needs to have an emotional arc. Morning Kit needs to have a point of understanding. Morning Kit needs to have a character climax of some sort at some point in this series. And if she doesn't, that would just like be such a massive fumble of everything.
Yeah, I don't really feel like they have like too clear of a direction really set out to where they want to really go with this character, but I do marginally agree with Akira on, the presentation this time, more leaning towards, it being a mental health allegory. I feel like with the language and the way they try to almost therapize her is like kind of, more intentional, on their front. But as for like Morning Kit specifically, I don't know if they're just going to end up having her be a petulant child for the rest of the arc, or where that's even really going, to be honest, now that, the thing that happened at the end of the book.
what I found, like, when I was going back to the Hidden Moon, like, quotes that I had was that, in that book, like, they're looking more at Morning Kit. They're looking more at the issue through Morning Kit's perspective of, like, oh, Morning Kit is this, like, lonely cat and never got a chance at life or something. Where this book, they're really, like, pivoting and looking more at the Moonpaw perspective of, like, oh, I got a ghost in my head. This is, like, a really huge burden.
I think that's... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Hawkkz.
No, I was just going to agree. I mean, like, I like the direction that they're taking it, more inwardly, instead of focusing on it as more of a spiritual thing as it is for Moonpaw to overcome in her own right. But yeah, I don't really have much to add besides that.
But Morning Kit is definitely real. Like, Morning
Yes,
Kit is
absolutely
someone that
real.
Starling Paw can see. Morning Kit is someone that Moonpaw cannot control. So, like Morning Kit has to have a separate arc than Moonpaw.
Yeah. See, I was like, I wonder why they didn't like push on that more in this book, honestly, especially with the way, that it was revealed in the last book with Starling Paw seeing her at the gathering. I didn't think that they were just going to shoehorn it in at like his literal last chapter, like the next time that they interact. Starling Paw kind of had his own thing going on this entire book, but I
Well,
don't
he
know.
thought she was a real apprentice last time. He was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's just like some unruly cat. Why
He
doesn't
didn't
anyone
have
pay
any
attention to
reason
her?"
to reach out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think both of those are important points. But like knowing how Warriors tends to function with the books going back and forth between different writers, and they're tending to be more thematic cohesion if you follow an author's path through an arc rather than the whole arc itself. The different interpretations or focuses of how to deal with Morning Kit across these two books feels like something where they are both going to be coming back by books 4 through 6 when the different authors come back. And they're kind of opposed to me, in opposition with each.
Yeah.
Because
Do you think Clarissa's coming back?
I hope so.
maybe I'd
really
love it. I have no idea.
Wait, well, someone has to write it, right?
Yeah,
Right
but I
before.
assumed it was going to be the guy who wrote Stormclan.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Do we know yet?
I mean, I don't know. I have no
don't-
idea. Like, I can check.
Yeah. I generally only find the authors when the books come out, or if they announce them in an article, obviously, but I don't know. In either case, if they are going with a Morning Kit is a problem for Moonpaw direction, the way that was spoken about in this book and the way it tends to be dealt with mental health is that you can characterize certain impulses you have or rationales behind bad thoughts or decisions as being from a younger or more fixated piece of yourself that was taught to protect something specific or to want something specific and to go after that no matter what. And that you, as a more mature, complex, focused person, are able to sort through when that impulse is a good idea to follow and when it's not matching up with reality or would lead you astray. And I think that would be a very nice arc for Moonpaw, symbolically. But again, we've also showcased Morning Kit as her own character who has the characterization of being stuck, of being that effectively Morning Kit's inner child, except for the fact that she is her own inner child who also can't grow or develop basic empathy. I don't know how they're going to rationalize those two things together, I think.
Yeah, they're very conflicting.
Well, you see, Mapleshade has many facets.
The big reveal that we've all been leading up towards.
So you missed April 1st, though, Moon. You were supposed to do the grand old why is Morning Kit obviously Mapleshade?
No,
But
see,
that
it
was-
would be why is Morning Kit True Paw is what it would get down to. Also, Rosie Best is writing the next one. I am
Rosie
so happy
Best,
about that,
nice.
actually.
What did Rosie Best do something before?
Rosie Best was on Survivor's books, I think, and Bamboo Kingdom books. I'm excited about Rosie Best, okay?
On that note, do we know if it's like is Cherith going to return for another book in this arc, or
She said
this
This
is
is
largely-
Clarissa. Clarissa is an editor on Warrior Cats, like on the story team, basically, and she used to do the novellas after Vicky left. She's the one who wrote the second book.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm talking. Cherith did write this one, right?
Yes.
Like this
Yeah.
one. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have a reason to assume she won't do book 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd imagine that she's doing book 5 for sure.
All right. Do we have anything else to talk about for just the Morning Paw characterization, or shall we move on to her supports?
I like how you keep evolving her. Yeah, but I like that Moonpaw, got a support system of sorts. I like the people who surround Moonpaw.
I think Moonpaw becoming friends with Goldenpaw and Shinepaw, I'm, for this exact moment, ignoring the romance thing, but becoming friends with both of them is one of the first times in several real years of Warriors production where a protagonist has gained a friend group with cats in their clan.
Yeah, without being previously established.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish Shinepaw was more interesting, and I wish
She peed on
Goldenpaw...
Goldswoop.
that was really funny.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
Is
Is that this book?
Yeah, it wasn't on the page, but Shinepaw comes back from a patrol and explains that she met Gullswoop there, and I think it was Lion
Peed
Boys
on her.
got mad at her.
Let's just say I left my scent on her.
I left my scent on Gullswoop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's similar to Lionpaw back in Outcast teaching the 2Bs how to pee on their territory markers. Like they don't say it directly, but they're dancing around the actual language because that's the only thing they can be doing.
Yeah, okay. And then they make Goldenpaw just the love interest. So it's like...
Oh, I hate Goldenpaw.
Like, the first thing we know about him is that he likes... The first, character trait he has is that he loves Moonpaw.
Exactly.
He's a knight in shining armor.
Yes, I do love you.
He's a teenage boy.
Yeah, but I spend all
But is
day
he
with
anything?
tweenage. I spend all day with tweenage boys. I don't need to read about them.
Well, good thing the only thing he says is yes. Am I kind of crazy, though, for thinking, I don't know, like, I like the inclusion of Goldenpaw and Shinepaw, but I feel like, their, betrayal at the beginning of the book was, really, it kind of left me with a sour note to begin with, where
Yeah.
I just kind of felt like it was a little trite,
No,
by the end
I
of
was
it.
definitely there with you. I think in general, the arc's entire insistence on somehow putting Moonpaw on the defensive by having everyone around her distrust her or dislike her for some reason or another. In Goldenpaw and Shinepaw's case specifically, it came off as just a little bit character breaking because the only character either of them had at the time was we like and trust Moonpaw. Go ahead.
I think that the implication is that there was more time in between her trusting them and them telling than the book is really properly allowing us to process. From what I can tell, it's they want you to think that Goldenpaw and Shinepaw thought that they could handle this alone, but they couldn't because it became overwhelming after a while, and they don't give us enough time with it to feel that way ourselves.
Yeah, but what this entire thing plays out over the course of a single month, right? Just going off of the time frame of Tiger Star saying, "Oh, we have to wait the 2 months to do anything about Moonpool or whatever," and then they go to this singular gathering, right? So that's why I feel like it's a little less earned, because instead of showing us those moments, it's kind of summarized up until they go out on the hunt, and then they're like, we need to get back to camp, and then which leads to the big confrontation, which doesn't really sit well with me.
Interventions are always a bad idea. Interventions are a bad idea no matter what the situation
Don't
is.
handle an intervention.
Don't create an
but
intervention.
I've been in Moonpaw's position, as the person, who needs, the outside support, and I don't know. I just feel like with the amount of space that was left in this book, they could have utilized it a lot better to, really flesh out those characters more in that specific direction for me to really, not have such a sour taste in my mouth.
The thing about the pacing in this book is a lot of it feels simultaneously slow and rushed. Overall, not many plot beats are occurring. Still more than last book, but not many. But each of those character beats seems shoved into just a few chapters when
Yeah.
The content feels like it needed more time. I think this might be less of a case of them using rushing or filler and more just a symptom of them not really planning out the full arcs ahead. Because I think, like, if they had started the Tawny Pelt's suspicion part in book 1 and done the Golden Paw and Shine Paw trying to help her, maybe even try and get her away from Tawny Pelt's suspicion through book 2, then by the time we got to the intervention in book 3, it would feel earned. Like they had fully tried all of their options and it didn't work.
Right. Yeah, I agree in a sense. I mean, I really feel like this book is all over the place. It's like too, linear, and that a lot of what's happening inside the chapters are like really just delegated to what that specific character is doing. There's no really interconnecting, plot threads besides the big, like the main ones, and a lot of it just ends up being like minor character moments of, like self-discovery, or Tawny Pelt goes and does something, sees another old person. Add another note to the checklist. Let's go to the next clan. But yeah.
She didn't spend too much time doing that.
No, not much time in general. This book is really, really short.
Oh yeah, the book is like 40 pages shorter than the last one.
Yeah, what was it, like 260 something?
But like the first book was also really short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like weird because like in the early Warrior Cats, we've never had like books this short. Like almost like it was very rare for a book to be shorter than 300 pages.
Let me double check, because I had looked up the page count of Into the Wild the other day for a different reason.
Because Into the Wild is shorter.
Yeah, Into the Wild's
the
definitely
arc is
shorter,
like...
but the rest of the arc is a bit longer. No, not Into the Wild by John Krakauer. No, Warrior Cats.
The two short early Warrior Cats books are Into the Wild and Moonrise.
Yeah.
So whatever the second.
Yeah, that's Moonrise. Oh, now you won't give me... Oh, no! I hadn't gone to look at the Into the Wild new Amazon page. It's no longer Into the Wild Warrior Cats. It's Warriors #1, Into the Wild, an epic Warrior Cats adventure of the clans, courage, and forest of secrets. Warriors, the prophecies begin.
Do you think
that Amazon algorithm.
AI did that?
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have Amazon has like you have to have crazy search optimization sometimes.
Okay, they somehow think this book is 320 pages. Did it add pages? I thought it was a shorter book.
I don't know, because maybe they're using
the Amazon
the
page
Kindle
links are
word count.
Yeah, I don't know. The Amazon page links are inconsistent with the print.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at just the actual numbers on the page, because sometimes they include like stuff, the after book stuff.
That's true. I should reach over to my in arm's reach actual copy of Warrior Cats Into the Wild. That would be a better choice. 272. 272 pages. So we're shorter than even that.
We get some more page flipping ASMR on the way out.
I think like two of the longer books I remember are The Sight, which is like around 350, and Thunder and Shadow, which is also around that like length. But we haven't seen one of those in a while for the main series.
Yeah.
Not since the new team took over, at least.
Thunder and Shadow, I just said, it's really long.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. I somehow think of Avos as old now. That's bad.
It's not old enough to be old team.
Yep.
Oh man, we are if we get a new team, for the new team, we're definitely calling new team old team, and then we're gonna call new team. It's gonna be so confusing.
We have Vicky, old team, new team. Vicky team, old team, new team.
I don't think we can get a new team at this point because
I'm
it's
sure
just
that
a constantly
Ship of
shifting.
Theseus.
It's just the same
point.
Exactly.
It's like the rotating people.
The ThunderClan conglomerate.
By the way, Golden Paw and Moonpaw romance.
I think it's fine.
I know you think it's
You
fine.
know what the best part about it is?
It's not
They're
forbidden
not both
or
protagonists.
angsty.
They're not both protagonists.
That too.
She's so right, though.
I don't have to spend a third of all my book time looking at them flirt. Or fail
I'm
to
so
flirt.
happy that I can look
Just
at
wait.
Golden Paw and I don't need to wonder anything.
Yeah, just wait until next book.
Oh, you
Mysterious
think Golden
fourth
Paw's gonna be the
protagonist drop.
protagonist? Oh,
I hope not. Hell no.
Why would they
Just
do
wanna put that in your mind.
specifically?
I mean, it's not like out of the question. I don't think. 'Cause the next book, I think the next blurb mentions Golden Paw.
If they somehow managed to turn this series that started with 3 female protagonists into a series with a 2-to-1 gender ratio again.
I'm sorry to manifest
I'm,
that into existence.
I'm not going to blame them for a thing that we've imagined. But
Yeah, let's
it's
just pray
the
that it
sort of
doesn't
thing I
happen.
could see them doing.
I know.
Yeah, the next book still has Tawny Paw and Starling Paw.
Okay,
So I
good.
think we're good.
I kind of just like that they're not angsty. Like, I don't enjoy watching romance in general, and I think they're very bland, but at least I don't have to be frustrated at their oh-so-tragic inability to get together. And they're roughly at the same maturity level. That's nice.
I love that.
Well,
I'm
they're
sorry.
actually-
I'm really glad that they are both kids. That's all I care about.
I do think that there is a tragic they can't get together because of Morning Kit trying to interrupt them.
Yeah, they really want
Constantly.
that to be a thing, but I really don't think that it's all that crazy that they're
Like,
cracking it up.
the two people love each other and want to be together, and the thing stopping them from being together is an ongoing threat to more than their relationship, so they have every reason to stop that in some form or another.
Yeah, I just like I don't like. I think I hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I think I hate it. It feels very shoehorned in. I mean, it's just like meet the warrior cat's romance quota of the arc check.
There are several worse things they could do. I think it would have been much worse if they tried to make a Moonpaw and Starling Paw romance.
It's not too late.
She talked to him. Okay, she talked to him.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
And
too
that's
late
more
for
than
them
some
to-
of the other couples have done.
Yeah.
Starling Paw understands her because she can see the Morning Kit.
Oh god, Starling Paw Morning
Starling
Kit
Paw
romance.
romance love triangle. Golden Paw, the nice but plain and boring romantic interest. Starling Paw, the bold, brash, bad boy Tom who's trying to start a revolution. But he can see her heart. He can see the little kit that lives inside her. Who will she choose?
Don't make Golden Paw into Keebly. I'll start not liking it.
Anyway, does anyone have any further thoughts on this, or shall we move on?
We can
He
probably.
just exists. He exists.
Alrighty. So ThunderClan intervention tactics. How does one deal with an apprentice who has a sometimes dangerous kitten living in her head?
Kill
Kill who?
both.
Right.
I don't think there's an answer. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah, well, I feel like the presentation here is that, you know, to begin with, they're clearly in the wrong. This is like they're like the overbearing parents to where, you know, they're like new to having to deal with this type of stuff, so they overcompensate and try to, you know, protect, you know, Moonpaw in ways that would apply normally, you know, but for her specific circumstance, you know, is slowly encroaching more and more on her actual autonomy until, you know, they really have that part where Tree comes in, you know, and puts Squirrelflight in her place. the part where he's like,
We didn't need to
he's
frame
like,
it.
yeah,
that
I'm
way.
here.
Yeah.
True. Dude, so true.
We need the man to come over here and beat up the woman.
I don't like Tree in general, and I really don't like him putting Squirrelflight in her place. But I think therapeutic intervention for Moonpaw could potentially be nice, but it entirely depends on what Moonpaw is.
Yeah.
So the book is like one thing is like about Tree is that the book sets it up like Tree is like completely in the right, like because they're using meditation, and because they're using meditation, you know that it's a positive thing because this book has only ever said positive things about meditation, and even though that is supposed to be a River Clan thing that they introduced last book with going back to the Cats of the Park, somehow
Actually,
it's Tree's
everyone
thing
should
now
do it.
too.
Yeah.
Somehow it's
Well,
Tree's thing now too, and like it's like I don't really. Yeah, I thought we were done with meditation, so it was kind of like frustrating just to see it like back because doesn't add much other than just trying to say it's the best thing ever.
I would like to headcanon that Tree just saw all of these RiverClan cats coming up and using their brand new word meditation, this thing they learned from their ancient ancestors, and he decided, hey, my entire style of being is just sitting around doing nothing and occasionally having a thought. I meditate! That's the key to happiness.
Yeah, I think they saw the thing where he like, I guess in the A Vision of Shadows books or like in the Broken Code where he focuses and like feels the roots of everything around him. I guess that's kind of like the correlation that they're drawing there, but like just having him like outwardly be like the meditation guru, just I mean it's fitting for his character, but like there's no like actual narrative reason for him to be that, like why isn't it a River Clan cat, when that's supposed to be their whole thing.
Do you think that there's a distinction between meditation and being the bush?
It's whether you picture your mental self as being flowing water or being leaves blowing in the wind.
I think that Tree has always been semi-meditating, just they weren't calling it meditating.
I don't know why they didn't bring River Clan back this book.
I don't know what River Clan is.
It was the perfect.
They spent a whole arc like making River Clan, trying to make River Clan interesting, and then this arc they skipped over Tawny Pelt's River Clan visit, and then they skipped over having a River Clan cat teach Moonpaw meditation.
Well, you see, Akira, unless River Clan has a protagonist, they are doing nothing interesting ever and don't need to be dealt with. We've learned this ever since we came to the lake.
Yeah. So Tawny Pelt has a scene in Sky Clan. She has a scene in Wind Clan. Mm-hmm. She spends a lot of time in in Thunder Clan, and she even goes visit Shadow Clan. Like the whole book was like Tawny Pelt's world tour, but they even then they had to say, okay, sorry River Clan, you just get mentioned once as somewhere that Tawny Pelt definitely went to.
It's not quite as egregious as this, in my opinion, but River Clan was also completely skipped over in the final battle of the Last Hope. We just have no idea what went on there at all. No one even came by to give us a report.
Yeah, it's like they can't ever seem to find a way to involve a clan that's not bordering one of the POV clans.
Mm-hmm.
Because River Clan was way more in focus when Shadow Clan cats were a thing, but since Tawny Pelt's in Thunder Clan this whole time, it doesn't there's no way for her to come across them.
I'm still surprised that they didn't do anything to do with Wind Clan after finally focusing on River Clan for an arc. I was expecting this arc to have Wind Clan.
You see, but Crowfeather can psychically guess that Tawny Pelt is interested in him, so, that's clearly the thing that they need to be spending their time on.
It's called pheromones, okay, Hawk?
We'll get there. One thing they have always focused on is ThunderClan. And one of those characters that has ever been in focus in ThunderClan is good old Bramblepaw Claw Star Claw.
Transition.
That's my masterful transition.
The good part, everybody! Clap your hands!
Bramblestar is dead, everyone. He died after a long battle with infection. He gave up his life in an attempt. Well, he was already dying, but as he was dying, he let Moonpaw know that he would be making an attempt to convince Moonkitti to come along with him. It didn't work, but he tried, and he is still dead. He had a long vigil. Many cats mourned for him. It was sad. More should have.
Wasn't that long of a vigil?
I don't understand why in the world they skipped over both Alderheart and Sparkpelt saying anything about their dad.
Or Nightheart, Lionblaze,
there's a huge laundry list of people who would have really, really compelling things to say about Brambleclaw, and they're just like, no, bye.
Hold up, actual children. The protagonist has to speak, okay?
But Alderheart was protagonist.
I know. I mean, the Moonpaw going directly after Tawny Pelt and Squirrelflight having to speak third, and it's like, bro, really?
I don't understand. I don't understand why they skipped over so much. This is like, I know. Okay. I'm not happy that Brambleclaw died. Actually, that's probably the thing I'm gonna say that sounds weirdest.
I will say a number of people in my specific tiny bubble of fandom were all convinced that you would be thrilled because there's a very surface level impression a lot of people have of you.
I know. But you can't do anything about that on the internet.
Yeah.
My YouTube comment section had a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I'm for my Bramblestar video.
Well, yeah, because if you make a video about how a character doesn't work technically at one point in time, it's going to be the assumption that you hate them and wish bad things to be done to them, which generally isn't the case.
I know it's
It's
like
like
missing the entire point. You know, I,
I wanted
I,
him to get better, and he did.
He
That's
did.
my
He did
Yeah.
get better.
Like,
This
I
was
wanted
him
them
as
to.
better.
I wanted the like I was afraid at first, early last arc, that they weren't going to make him better and they were going to make him worse, because that whole like setup situation they did with him and Scrollflight, it really kind of like it really scared me. But like when they had him retire and after they had him retire, he has been the character that I feel like he should be for a very long time, and then killing him like this is like, oh god, why are you doing this?
You see, I felt like it was kind of the right time, though, and not that I'm glad to see Bramblestar's actual intervention of character be cut off early, but in the fact that it did feel right for the time, and they've been tossing around the idea of how weak he is, so it like narratively it does make sense, but I would much rather that they cut it off and leave it on something nice than have it drag out for like another book, or two.
Sepsis, Hawk. He died of sepsis.
Yeah,
Yes. Very
so
painful, very
I
long.
have complicated feelings on this one. I agree in part with both of you. I do think that, like, in particular, his relationship with Moonpaw and his willingness to basically let the infection take if he had a chance of solving this Moonpaw and wider clan problem is a nice moment and an appropriate sacrificial moment. But the thing that killed him wasn't actually heroically dying to save Moonpaw. It was sepsis. It was infection, which has been drawn out over a book and a half at this point. And I think the first reaction I had when Bramblestar died was, wait, seriously, they're actually going with this? That's happening? Because it didn't have the... I was going to say it didn't have the build-up, which isn't true. They had a book and a half of build-up. But what they didn't have was a sense that this was actually happening, that this wasn't just a normal sickness. Protagonists don't tend to just die by long drawn-out illnesses. That's a background character thing. And, like, Bramblestar has been, it's in some form, a main character basically since the Darkest Hour.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, is that I feel that slight unconventionality, it's kind of befitting of, Bramblestar's wide perception in the fandom, that he has a less ceremonious death, to really give you time to humanize this character and build him back down to a place where you can actually enjoy him and appreciate the scenes that he's in. But I mean, I would rather it be this way than him like dying in some battle, because I mean it gives you time to adjust to to properly reevaluate whether or not, okay, in death this character is reminding me of the core values that they were trying to make him have to begin with. And I don't know, I'm gonna be honest, it did make me tear up a little bit, specifically the part where Jay Feather is talking to him like right before he like Moonpaw comes in to visit or whatever, and he sends her away and Tawny Pelt, and it chokes up Squirrelflight. It's a very bad retelling, but it's such a powerful moment to see such a breakaway from that character and unite everybody around this tragedy that ultimately ended up being, I mean, it was bad, but that's what was good about it.
And that is, sorry, just that is the counter argument there, that as much as I think there probably should have been something more climactic, I don't know if they had any notion that the fandom might not have accepted it or been wholly celebratory of him if he did go out that way. And I also think that the funeral definitely should have been more robust, and there were a lot more cats that needed to speak there. But most cats who die, especially recently, haven't gotten a funeral at all. Like, they just die and oops, they're out. So I I was glad in the moment that they at least did something with him, and that they had a scene set aside for some of the people important to him to speak.
I feel like that's just like a general problem with this book's length, is that there's just not enough page space to really, have these scenes play out, with enough time and respect as they usually would. And I'd say most, chapters really do err on the short side, just in terms of like a pacing thing. And, for them to even leave it with that sentiment at all, I feel like speaks to the volumes that they've managed to come, within this such a short amount of time to completely flipped, the script, and not in the fullest sense, but in that it's more accepting of his death.
One thing that like I kind of like felt like they dropped the ball with is that like the relationship between Bramblestar and Morningkit, because in the previous book they set up that like Morningkit is like afraid of Bramblestar to some degree, but then in this book when Bramblestar like confronts Morningkit off screen, Morningkit's just like, yeah, I pretended, I just like slipped away, it was really easy.
I really wish we had just seen that scene, like I wish we
Yes.
seen Morningkit trick Brambleclaw, and that's been frustrating me a little, is that like we don't even know how that worked.
I hope it's going to end up being like a prologue or something next book.
Oh, I wish they used prologues that well.
I kind of...
What was the prologue?
It was Cloudtail dreaming.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I snore. Oh, what's that? I see the moon?
Is that like an omen? Nah. Time to go back to sleep.
Could this be...
I'm not going to tell
Elder.
Pelt about that. She's just going to know when she gets to Wind Clan that I said that.
I'm an elder. Could this be the quest?
Wait, guys, I've got it. We need to chase the skies.
Wow. Title drop, everybody. Roll credits.
Just
Pack it up.
Oh my god!
You're just doing your William Shatner impression over here, Sunnyfall.
Okay, I legitimately, every single time that I say either chasing shadows or changing skies, I feel like this has been designed from the beginning to knock me down. I cannot get either of the titles correct.
There's a lot of CH this arc.
But, to Bramblestar, just specifically here, I wanted to continue to see him as an elder. I didn't necessarily want him to be hugely prominent or like overwhelming every arc, and I know that in the last two arcs he has been very important as an elder in both situations, and like maybe they wouldn't be able to like ease up on that at all, but he has been kind of filling the niche that I feel older cats or senior warriors used to fill in Warrior Cats somewhat, like kind of like Purdy to Dovewing kind of situation, and him being gone kind of leaves a hole that the other elders aren't filling.
Yeah, that's really a fantastic point, Moon.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that's also, kind of the point that they were going towards, is that, when this kind of stuff happens, they really focus on the actual grief aspect of this, and having gone through that, in real life, we've all been there. We'll all be there eventually, some point throughout our lives, and to see that, so humanely, it really does feel like, this is a loved one and you wish to spend more time with them, but they're slowly deteriorating right in front of you. And I feel like that's why they chose something like sepsis, because it really is like a buildup over time. And I wasn't exactly prepared for it, that he was going to die, so quickly. But that's just kind of how it is in real life too. You never expect it. It always just comes, and I'm glad the way that they handled it, the way that they did.
I feel like this is one of the times where I really think just changing the pacing of not the book, of the arc would impact things. If we could just scoot Bramblestar sacrificing his life to try and get Morningkit out up to the end of last book, then I wouldn't have had an entire book of watching cats go in and say, how's Brambleclaw doing? Still bad. Okay. Oh, how's Brambleclaw doing? Still bad. Okay. How's Brambleclaw doing? He sure is getting worse. I got numb to that as a story beat so much that by the time we were halfway through this book and it was getting worse, but actually this time it's the end and he is dying, my emotions weren't ready to believe it. I was ready to write this off as, oh, okay, well, there's the next chapter about him doing bad. We'll keep waiting for anything to happen.
Okay, so since we are still on the topic of his death, I feel like it's important that we should bring up when he goes to see Moonpaw, like in her dreams or whatever. That's something that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, he visits her.
But it's only to say like one sentence, pretty much. He's like, yeah,
Like,
look out.
The whole point of this like story arc is that they can't talk to StarClan, and then like, oh hey Bramblestar.
There's
Hey,
StarClan.
I'm here now. Hey guys, it's me. I died. Did you remember me from this book?
I think they're getting by pretending that he's still in the ghost zone, like he's not quite to StarClan yet, so he can
Wasn't the
skirt
whole
around
point-
the rule.
Wait, but didn't he just say like it wasn't the whole point is that he went to
literally
StarClan
said that he
and
went to StarClan. Yeah.
Oh.
he went to StarClan and Morningpaw slipped out at
Yeah.
the last second.
Okay, never mind.
He's like, I tricked that old fool by turning around at the last second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, but Brambleclaw.
They'll never figure out my plan.
The only thing that could have possibly
Like to
foiled
run
me
away.
was a hand. If he was holding my hand going into StarClan, I wouldn't have been able
Like-
to run away.
Should've picked up
Actually,
that little
sorry,
shit by
old
the
man.
Children, please remember to hold your family's hand as you're crossing the street. It's for your own safety. We don't want you to run back and possess or torment your little sibling. That would not be
Morning
nice
kid a
of you.
leash.
Can we just say, why did the morning kit cross the road?
To run away from Bramblestar, that's why.
To get to the
Brambleclaw.
dark forest.
I was thinking that maybe they only chose to kill Bramblestar because so that Moonpaw because otherwise Moonpaw wouldn't really because he was Moonpaw's support system, so they needed to kill him off in order to set up for Moonpaw to leave ThunderClan at the end of the arc. Whereas if he was still critically injured, Moonpaw would worry about him too much to run away.
You're probably
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That actually is a really fair point.
From a meta-narrative
Yeah.
direction, it's probably important that for Morning Kit and Moonpaw's arc, it's probably better that Bramblestar is gone.
I still think there was a better way to order this so that Bramblestar's death had more impact, but it probably is true that he needed to go. Yeah.
We didn't want Bramblestar clawing after her instead of Goldenpaw. God, could you imagine? That would be hell. Hell, literally hell.
I'm pretty sure at that point he could not travel.
Yeah, for sure.
Although they could have put in a wacky misunderstanding at any point where she decides that Bramblestar isn't on her side actually, and he's an evil monster who doesn't care about her.
Honestly, that was kind of how she decided to leave, so probably so.
Okay. I think we've beat up Brambleclaw enough.
Okay. So, Morning Kit. We've been talking about her plenty already. I'm more thinking, what do you think the trajectory of her time in this story looks like? What is it that she can do? What is she seems to be like a main antagonist for the arc, if not the main antagonist. What exactly is going on there?
Can I disagree with you?
Sure. Yep, you're welcome to.
I'm almost sure they're setting up Starling Paw as the antagonist.
Okay, well, yes,
Oh my
I
God.
said
Well-
a main antagonist, not the main antagonist.
Okay. But I think that Morning Kit will keep going until she gets revenge on Apple Dusk.
See, but I just feel like Starling Paw is just a little pissant. Like this is like a 13-year-old who's just learning what the world is like, and he did his first great thing, and now it's like overinflated his ego. You know, I don't really think that's really anything that's pointing towards him being bad.
I mean, Splashtail was like a
We'll
year old.
get there.
True.
We will get there.
Wasn't it like she literally? Okay, so this is Moonpaw for people who are just listening to the podcast. Basically, she's doing okay at camp. They finally get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm kind of messing with what's going on. Morning Kid isn't having as much of an effect over me. But she goes out hunting and like she fails to catch like I think like a singular rabbit, and she's like, oh well, I guess my life is over. Time to leave now. Let's pack up everything and go.
The reason she decides that she needs to leave is because her evil ghost takes over her body and tries to kill her boyfriend.
Yes. She scratches Golden Paw, which puts her on that, mind of thinking, and then it culminates in the hunting scene, which leads to her leaving.
No. I'm talking about when she is asleep and he is asleep, and the ghost takes over her body and tries to kill him while he's sleeping.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that this is what happened. This is what led up. That was the scene that came. I literally just read this like.
I thought you were implying that the intervention is what made her leave, and not the
no,
and not the murder.
Yeah, I will admit, I'm glad to see more of the Moonkitti possession. I still feel like it's up in the air what they're really going to do with this character, which relates to the topic at hand here, more succinctly. But what do you guys think it really means that the way that it's presented was that Moonpaw was in the dream, and she could see Moonkitti acting out the things that she was doing to Golden Paw, but it was actually her in real life. Does that lean more on the full side of like full possession, or like what are you guys thinking about that?
I'm leaning more towards that. Like she because they said that Golden Paw was not as injured as he was in the dream. So I think it's just like a hallucination that somehow that Moonkitti is like inflicting on her, in which case makes her, I think in her trying to pull Moonkitti off of Golden Paw was like her perception, and then in reality her trying to fight Moonkitti was because he says her paws were going through Moonkitti.
Yeah.
And so Moonkitti was like pretending to attack it, and then she was trying to paw through Moonkitti, but then she was actually like hurting Golden Paw herself because Moonkitti was just a ghost.
Yeah. Do we get a trick dream like that when she takes over her body to put the kitten in the tree?
Oh, dude, that might actually be. Well, no, because I don't remember if she actually did have a dream.
They kept saying. I think the thing they kept saying was that he never left. That Moonpaw never left the medicine den for that part, though.
Yeah.
Because Alder Hurt said that.
And they have technically confirmed with Starling Paw being able to see her, that Moonkitti is like an actual, like ghost, like an actual apparition, though still not. I mean, I guess Tree's just not good enough to see her.
She's also caused physical harm to Moonpaw while Moonpaw was awake, and has been implied to unsheath Moonpaw's claws during training.
But when she caused physical harm, it was like a big spectacle. Like it was like light.
Yeah, it was like a big reveal of the ability to do it, because she could see the reflection of Moonkitti in the water at the same time and all that.
I wonder what the explanation is going to be for that then, because they make it very clear that it is a ghost. So are they leaning more on the side because, I don't know of their bond, or because it's kind of just one of those things where it's like it really like you just don't know where it's going. I feel like the only thing like as far as her character, this book is that they've made it like evidently clear that she is going to like remain a child, and like the scene at the end of the book where she's pointing out like all these different observations, and Moonpaw's like, yeah, I've grown past that, but Moonkitti, because she died, as
hasn't
a child.
Can't. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, she can, because she never, grew up to, despite spending all this time with Moonpaw, it still possesses that singular personality.
Can I ask a question everyone can answer individually?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do you think that Moonkitti is?
Well, I think that she is a ghost, and all these like whatever theories that where she's part of Moon, but I don't really say. I think she is definitely a distinct like ghost, but she is like tethered to Moonpaw because she wills herself to be. In the previous book, they mentioned that she's physically growing up, like her body is getting bigger. Her body is usually like the same size as Moonpaw, even though she like other ghost kits in StarClan don't grow up. So I think she is in some way tethering herself to Moonpaw, but she is like, I think she's an independent ghost with independent feelings, but because she's so set in her ways, she doesn't mentally mature. That's kind of where I'm at.
I think I don't think what Mourning-Kit is fully based in any of the lore we have so far. I think it's one of those things that's not actually designed for us to solve. I think they're just going to tell us something later that explains it. I agree with Akira. I think she is a ghost. She appears to be tied to Moonpaw. We have seen that ghosts in the past don't even appear to, like, all of the sister Toms who can see them usually. Like, Tree and Rootspring can't see Mourning-Kit, but Starling Paw can. So maybe they're going to tell us that when you're a ghost, you get to choose who can see you, and she has chosen just Moonpaw. The aging part in particular, I think, is something they're just going to have to make up new lore to justify. We don't have anything that explains it right now, but I don't think her being anything other than a ghost would make sense at this point.
Yeah, I'm much in the same vein as everyone else here, really. I'm wondering if maybe the reasoning is, you know, they're going to classify her as like a specific type of apparition, which would be a reach for warrior cats. Let's be honest. But I don't really know. Yeah, it really is open-ended. You know, it's purposefully, you know, laid out this way so that we don't know, so that it does culminate in that reveal, like Sunnyfall was mentioning. But it is absolutely irrefutable at this point that she is a ghost at the very least.
Okay. So at this point, I unironically have looped back around to initial thoughts on Mourning-Kit. I think that because she is growing with Moonpaw's body, because she is somewhat tethered to Moonpaw, and because she does not have a natural access to basically anything but Moonpaw, I think that Moonpaw has her body. I think that, I don't think that Moonpaw is possessing her body. I just think that they, either because of being a chimera, because of being chimera, or for some other reason, they both technically have property over Moonpaw's body, and Moonpaw is just the one who is usually in control of it. I think that is unironically what they're doing now.
But hold on. But they buried her though. Like she.
I don't
came
think
out
I don't think that's her. I think that's Mourning-Kit. I think Mourning-Kit is a red herring. I think that she is an explanation that does not explain anything.
So it could like technically she would have three siblings then at that.
Yes.
At that
point. So if she looks into StarClan, Mourning-Kit's a separate kid. So like I think that when they find the moon pool, they're gonna find out hypothetically that Mourning-Kit is in StarClan and she's just a totally different person. I know that Bramblestar comes back down and tells her that he failed or whatever, but I'm just imagining that that's unrelated.
That is a banger idea. Warrior Cats, take notes right now. Do it.
I think from last book, Mourning-Kit says, when I'm not talking to you, I'm wandering as a spirit alone, and I hate it. You want me to be alone forever. Talk, but you just want me to go away. So what I take from that is that she's not inside Moonpaw's head. They're not like sharing the body.
She's her own ghost. She's like a soul. And Moonpaw's a soul too, but Moonpaw has the body. Kind of like Ashfur and Brambleclaw.
Well, no, because
when Brambleclaw gets kicked out of his own body, he's not like, he's still kind of connected to it, but he's not like also inside it at the same time. He was pushed out.
But Brambleclaw, or Bramblestar at the time, wasn't able to control his body when Ashfur was in it. And
no.
Mourning-Kit has been able to, in smaller ways, but control Moonpaw while she hypothetically has her body.
Yeah, but usually while she's sleeping or unconscious or weak.
Yeah, basically she's saying that the Mourning-Kit that was actually like buried or whatever, you know, that was born, you know, and died, you know, as like a whatever it was, if it was a stillborn or, you know. But she's saying that like Mourning-Kit, the apparition, isn't actually like that character that was buried. She's saying that, you know, maybe it is like because of the chimeraism that they merged, you know, and that she inherently possesses her body, but in like a spiritual sense, she still exists.
The body has two souls that are not the same person.
Yeah.
So they're not sharing thoughts and memories. They're not two parts of the same person. They are two people who are sharing the same vessel, but Moonpaw usually has complete control over it because obviously Morning Kit can only control it while she's unconscious or very sleepy. So I'm assuming that it's basically a Bramble Claw Ashfur situation.
If there was 3 siblings, why wouldn't Bramblestar went to StarClan? Why wouldn't he like tell Moonpaw?
Maybe he came back maybe the second that he could. Like I'm just like who knows where all those kids are.
Maybe that's the danger that he's talking about. We don't know.
I don't.
Who knows?
I don't think I. Yeah. I don't think I can.
Okay. If Morning Kit and Moonpaw are 2 consciousnesses having the same body, I have 2 questions then.
Okay.
1, where did those 2 consciousnesses come from? Or 3 questions, I suppose, because 2 is why does Moonpaw get the body and why didn't Morning Kit? And 3 is if, and I suppose this is somewhat true if she's a ghost as well, why can't Morning Kit grow mental development? Because like even in StarClan we have things like Moss Kit, 40-year-old Moss Kit, being able to talk with the wisdom of an elder. So what is the difference with Morning Kit that she can't even age mentally in the same way that Moonpaw can?
Okay, so 7 answers for you. The first is that the intelligence or the maturity of kits in StarClan is super inconsistent, and sometimes they're actually scary forever babies, especially in Squirrelflight's Hope, where they're like super immature, even though they're the age of Alderpot and Alderheart and Sparkpelt. Second thing is that Morning Kit and Moonpaw would be in the same body because their bodies fused in the womb.
Okay, but in that case,
the souls didn't fuse. The souls were like on the side, and they were like, we're not going there. In that case,
how did Morning Kit even develop to the maturity she has? Because she has the maturity of like a 1 moon old kit, maybe, not of a fetus.
Maybe that's the special possession, and that they share the body that's able to occur.
Yeah, like, so hypothetically, Sunny, right? Like, you're asking why is she growing, or why does she have this maturity, or why is she doing that? We haven't really seen much of Moonpaw's early childhood, and she doesn't seem to describe it in super strong detail either. So I guess I'm kind of wondering if there's a possibility that they were sharing the body a little bit more early on. And Moonpaw just kind of like assumed the consciousness at some point.
The dominant personality, yeah.
What they do say about it is that Moonkit, when she's like a kid, she just assumed that everyone had a voice.
Mm-hmm.
She assumed, so I don't think she did perceive Morning Kit as a voice from the start. I don't think it seemed like there was a time where it was different. And I think the reason why Morning Kit doesn't have the maturity is because the ghost perspective is just like so different. And I think like part of her, she just doesn't have like consequences in the same way that Moonpaw does. She doesn't like have to face the hardships that would like normally mature someone.
She's never been put in timeout ever.
Yeah, basically. Like there's no one that's helping like Morning Kit to grow as like mentally.
I fully agree, and I have another question now.
Oh god.
So in theory, in your theory, Moonpaw and Morning Kit both have the ability to control this body, and the way that Morning Kit gets in sometimes is when Moonpaw is weak.
Yeah. So essentially, Moonpaw has it most of the time because she's kind of like Moonpaw ended up with the body somehow, either before they were born or after they were born. It doesn't matter. Moonpaw ended up inside the body and having the body, and Morning Kit is still tethered to that body despite not being in charge of it, just like Brambleclaw and Ashfur.
Okay. In that case, when Morning Kit does have control of the body, why isn't Moonpaw somewhere?
Well, Moonpaw's sleeping.
But not always.
Like, she's not ousting Moonpaw. She's just taking control of the vessel to the point that she still can.
But when Moonpaw is in control, Morning Kit shows herself sometimes as a literal physical presence there, who can then walk up to Moonpaw and talk, or walk away and do something else completely different on the territory. When Morning
we
Kit
can't
controls,
answer this because we
but
don't
when
know.
when Morning Kit controls Moonpaw, Moonpaw does not get the ability to wander the territory as a spirit and go do something else.
Do you remember when Firestar took over Rootsprig's body?
Yeah, no, that was stupid.
Okay, this is too.
Yeah, okay.
That makes
Rootsprigg
me wonder.
was like-
Continue.
It's was already like in the Dark Forest, so
Yeah, but it was his body in the Dark Forest for some reason. It doesn't make sense, but
the magic portal.
So, thing I was going to look up a while ago. The book one thing involved Morning Kit and Moonpaw were having a spat. Morning Kit forebodingly, that is the word choice they use, forebodingly said, "Tomorrow the sun will disappear. Your clanmates will panic, but you will find the sun shining in a hollow tree." And then that's it. It's all you need. And when it comes true, you'll know you can trust me. Then Moonpaw feels disturbed and thinks about if the prophecy comes true, she'll believe her, but if it doesn't come true, she doesn't have to believe that this voice has any meaning. Moonpaw waits a full day, the sun sets, they do a time skip over it, and therefore the voice is wrong. The orange cat didn't see slips in time because it was real. And then she is very happy. She then goes to sleep, and when she wakes up, voices outside are screaming, "Oh no, Sunkit's gone."
so she doesn't have any dream or anything to explain
Nothing.
her wonder. Yeah, but it was
That kinda
definitely
just
her
sound-
body being possessed in that
Oh, yeah.
situation. They've confirmed it at
Yeah,
this point.
that
I'm
kind of
still
just
not
sounds like
entirely
typical.
sure how, because apparently they were watching her the whole night and she didn't move. Did she
But
show
maybe
herself
they
to
can-
Sunkit?
What
Like
here?
maybe Sunkit has a specific can see ghosts.
It's typical
Sunkit
warrior
is a
cat's
sister
inconsistency.
descendant.
Yeah.
Who's Sunkit's parents anyway?
Her
don't know,
cousins,
but-
I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I was about to say, looking back, there's probably like a similar moment with like Ashfur and Brambleclaw where it wasn't like concretely laid out like that. You know what I mean? I just chalked that
Oh.
up to just regular warrior catsness.
Sunkit's parents are Myrtle Bloom and whoever Myrtle Bloom's mate is.
It's Flipclaw.
Flipclaw was only confirmed by the website. The only very brief mention we had in any book was that it was a guy who was already married. So I still say it's an unconfirmed thing.
I
And
guess.
I
but
was very careful about checking this book, and they did not confirm it either way.
That's because it was already written by the time they fixed their mistake.
Yeah. Anyway, did anyone have anything else to add on potential Morning Kit shenanigans?
I can't believe that Mapleshade would take a baby's body like that.
All right. So we will move on to the other seeming setup, everyone's favorite. It's a journey plot with Moonpaw, Goldenpaw, and Morning Kit traveling the world together. It's a buddy comedy.
Yep. Two lovers and the ghost that wants to kill both of them.
Tale as old as time.
Doesn't Morning Kit know that if she kills Goldenpaw, then Moonpaw's just gonna hang out with his ghost instead?
Can Moonpaw see ghosts in general, or just Morning Kit ghost?
Well, just Morning
I
Kit
don't
so
know
far.
anything. Do you think that Mapleshade loves Goldenpaw because he looks like Apple Dusk?
Does Goldenpaw look like Apple Dusk at all?
No.
I mean, I don't retain their descriptions very well, but Goldenpaw being called golden implied to me that he was yellow somewhere, and Apple Dusk is brown.
Nightheart speech bubble.
I guess my question would be, placing bets now, how long until you think they turn around and go back to the clans? Because this is definitely not permanent.
Well, this is probably a one book thing,
I
like
assume.
book 4 of last arc, where they have where they're out doing things, and book 4 of the previous arc, where they're out doing things.
Yeah. But, okay, to be clear, I don't like books 4 of either of the previous arcs very much. That's not true. I like Frostpaw and Nightpaw quite a bit, but in the previous 2 books, they were going out to do something, like to find something, to talk to someone. Here, I have no idea what their intention is, and they might just be wandering aimlessly until they decide to go home.
They're gonna find a nice ditch to live in. But, I think that them leaving is going to last exactly as long as Crowfeather being dead lasted.
So up until about the 2/3 point of the next book?
Maybe the 1/3 point of the next book. I think that they're going to turn around very, very soon because they learn something, or like about what the clans are supposed to do, or they get found by the patrol that's going to SkyClan, or they combine with the patrol that's going to SkyClan, or they just decide to turn around for some other reason, or Moonpaw gets hit with a cinder block and Goldenpaw drags her back to ThunderClan.
Well, the blurb says that for the next book says that Goldenpaw struggles with his decision, so it's going to be a lot of like Goldenpaw not being happy.
Should I have gone out with my murderous girlfriend? Only sometimes murderous when her little sister takes over.
Goldenpaw is going to be very like homesick, it seems like, and probably Moonpaw is going to be too, to some degree.
I do wonder on that vein if they're potentially going to stumble across whatever place the clans are going to next. That seems to be where they're headed, is they're moving.
Are they? Well, they're not in the same direction as like SkyClan.
So my thought was maybe if the place the clans ultimately are going to isn't meant to be SkyClan, then maybe Moonkitti, Goldenpaw, Moonpaw are going to accidentally stumble across the other territory that the clans are supposed to go to, like the Wildcats area or something.
Because this is the north, right? Mm-hmm. North of the clans where they're going, because the two-leg place where there's like Jesse or something is from, or the Bramblestar Storm two-leg place.
Maybe they end up near the Whispering Tree thing with the
that's in the that's in the east, I want to say. Oh, it's the Moonpool. Past Moonpool is where the Wildcats are, right?
The Bramblestar Storm kitty pets, they were like adjacent to the Shadow Clan, Wind Clan area, weren't they? Like that's
Shadow Clan, Wind Clan. Those are on opposite sides of the lake.
Oh man, Warrior Cats geography.
No.
Yeah, because it goes Shadow Clan, Sky Clan, Thunder Clan, Wind Clan, River Clan.
You're right, but I remember them walking through.
But regardless of where it is, that's where I think Moonpaw is right now, is that Bramblestar Storm two-leg place.
I want to see Minty. I miss Minty.
I miss Minty, but I thought Minty was over by like the River Clan, Wind Clan marsh area. Like the farm they hypothetically have over there that's different.
She wasn't from a farm.
Yeah, but like
she was not one of those cats.
Not that place, but there on the drawn up map there's a few houses that are adjacent to the farms, I think. I'm very bad at retaining visuals. If I'm totally
doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
Literally doesn't matter. We're just derailing what you were saying. What were you getting at?
Oh yeah, we were talking about where if there was any significance to the Moonpaw's team being in this area. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Last time they brought two cats of the park home, and one of them got to stay. Do you think we get to keep a kitty pet?
I hope we get to keep someone named something like Purhis.
How about a naming competition where we get to decide their warrior name too?
Oh, what if they bring home someone named Pancake and then they fall in love with Waffle Pelt?
It can never be.
It will never. They're fated to be rivals. I'm sorry.
You see, something about this book kind of, I think, injected silly into everyone, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think like this whole arc is silly, like in concept. Mm-hmm. Like we got Moonkitti telling Moonpaw to die. Stuff. It's like he says it really will be awesome. Discussing dying.
I know
those exact words.
Dying is totes lit, fam.
She's just like Froston's dad. Oh, maybe Froston's dad can take care of Moonkitti. We solved it.
Froston's dad, J Claw, and Moonkitti can connect over so much. They both think that death is the right way to go.
I know this is skipping ahead a bit in your topics, but I feel like it's kind of like, like inevitably connected. Is I think that when we're traveling here, we don't actually have very many options, like with them leaving, because we have we're going to SkyClan, right, mm-hmm. with Tawny Pelt and her ragtag group of the elderly, and we just visited the tribe, so we can't really double up on tribe. I'd imagine. I'm not going to put it past them, and so there's two other trajectories here, right? And those trajectories are the sisters who obviously are going to sing at the ghost and then say, sorry, there's nothing we can do. And then there's the Wildcats, who have inherent ghost connections their entire lives. They have ghost guides their entire lives. And they have a council of elders that make their decisions for them as opposed to a leader. And they were just set up like 2 books ago.
All of that is highly convincing, but have you considered that they also have the option of turning tail, going in the opposite direction, and meeting Warrior Clan?
Shut up.
If anything, it's more likely that Tawny Pelt comes in contact with them, because it's kind of on the way.
But Tawny Pelt's going in the opposite direction as well. Of the Wildcats.
Yeah.
With how much patience Tawny Pelt has for children, do you think that she would tolerate Monkey Star?
Not in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope that by the time they get to the gorge, Stick is dead, and I never have to read anything about him ever again.
Oh, don't worry. He has no interest.
Was Stick around? I guess he was.
He's like all persistent, and he's just there through everything.
He was alive in Firestar's quest. Get dead, buddy.
2026, we're still dealing with Stick.
Dude, he was shown to be alive in Hawkwing's journey, right? Like, because they had those stupid chapters where they went back and it's like, hey guys, from this book that we were also about,
hey, let's kill Dodge for no reason.
Yeah.
See, the problem is that the SkyClan Gorge is actually in a time dilation bubble. Time does not pass the same way there as it does in the entire rest of the Warriors world. You can have 2.5 arcs of mainline time go by with 3 to 4 generations, and SkyClan will still be on their first generation. It's just a thing that happens over there.
Oh, thank goodness, clan cats are here. My new daughter, Yellow, she's dating a Capulet.
Yellow and Branch, everybody. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. New SkyClan cats? Oh my god.
Darktale's rogues have reformed a real second SkyClan.
No.
They've gone ultra woke.
They've let the raccoons and the rats join.
Yeah, the Rat King's like, yeah, guys, we're chill now.
Firestar
kind of beat my ass. I'm like, you gotta call him like you see him.
So that Crowfeather guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have no way to seamlessly transition into this one. So Crowfeather, he ain't dead.
Yeah, I didn't think he was.
No one thought he was.
We all saw it was coming. We all wanted deep down in our hearts for him to die. Very, very, very brutally so. But no, he just collapses, 40 feet, 50 feet down a ravine and just gets up and says, hey, no broken bones, I'm fine.
When Nog gets up, he was in a coma.
Yeah, a spiritually induced coma. Starling Paw, it's time for your powers again.
Yep, Starling Paw. I think it's just like he only died for the cliffhanger.
Yeah,
well, died.
Literally,
not died, but he only they only hey guys, we don't have a good enough cliffhanger. I don't think the morning attacking Moonpaw is cool enough. Okay, let's add this cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Feels like
he's going to be really worried about Crowfeather, the guy who had a whole book about how much he hates his son.
I don't even know why they'd even mess with that idea when they know that the entire Tawny Pelt Crowfeather thing is coming to a head. We know that he's supposed to be important for this plot thread. So the threat of him dying is just I
mean, even if we were supposed to believe it, the most interesting thing about Crowfeather dying is WindClan's deputy spot would be open.
Who would you make WindClan's deputy?
There's only one other character in WindClan who has a personality trait and isn't a medicine cat, so I think it goes to Breezepelt by default.
I was thinking Breezepelt too.
See, while I think that Breezepelt would probably be the ideal WindClan deputy, I think my favorite WindClan deputy would have been Heathertail.
That would be nice. She hasn't had a personality since Arc 3.
Let's go Heatherstar 2.
Meanwhile, Crowfeather is still daddying Breezepelt. He's like, what do you mean you have a problem with me, bro? He's like, we're going to talk about this when we get home, son. He's like, I don't care about this child, combating me while we're out here in front of all of our friends. But you specifically, when you spoke up and defended me, nah, we're gonna have a talk about that when we get home.
Breezepelt has one line in this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that Breezepelt and Crowfeather are our closest father-son duo now.
Yeah.
They just don't write parent relations anymore unless they're bad. You can have a bad relationship or you can have no relationship, and that's what you get.
Yeah, until the
Like Moonpaw's parents, like
I was about to say, until the catharsis where they realize, oh my god, we were doing you bad, and now we're gonna be good now because we're going back to the background.
Moonpaw's parents were nice, but Moonpaw's parents also occupy the Ivy Pool Fern Song level, where outside of a couple important scenes, they're just not there very much. Like, Golden Paw and Shine Paw are definitely a more consistent support group than her parents are.
I would go one step further, one generation up, and actually compare them to White Wing and Birchfall.
Yes, good point, because they have a scene in their own arc where they're good parents. No, that's not true. White Wing is a good parent.
Yeah, well, okay.
But Birchfall says,
Birchfall doesn't exist.
Hey, kid.
Yeah.
And then goes away.
But, like, hypothetically, like, there is a presence of parent, but not a fully understanding or capable of fully understanding presence of parent.
Yeah.
So Crowfeather's not dead.
No. I did not expect this bullet point to be very long. It's just, it feels like we need to acknowledge it. Crowfeather's not dead. What is more important is that Crowfeather and Tawny Pelt are jump-starting their romantic plotline now.
So funny.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness, it's so funny.
Whoa.
He sees her. He sees her. Maybe he smells her. Okay, I don't heckin' know. Okay, maybe he senses it on the wind or something, but he can tell. He can see it in her eyes, and he's like, okay, I gotta turn it back on here. I gotta come over here and start hitting on this woman right away. Like, he does not hesitate.
Dude,
he does not think. It's so funny.
Dude, it was so crazy, bro. Like, literally, he flips the switch and it's like back to Crowfeather mode. Like, he hasn't aged a single day in his entire life, bro.
I want him to mess up and accidentally call her Leaf Pool.
He's like, sorry, the second wife. I mean, the third wife. I mean, the third wife.
Crowfeather's getting married again.
Tawny Pelt's the fourth. Oh, okay, I suppose Feathertail wasn't a marriage. Fourth girlfriend.
I don't even know if Feathertail felt the same way when she was alive. Maybe as a ghost.
She spent multiple
it.
chapters complaining to Stormpaw about how she was allowed to love Crowpaw. Stormfur, sorry. Stormfur was the POV for that book, remember? Don't worry, he got to hear all about it.
Ugh. Alright, well, I'm gonna pretend in my head that she didn't actually like me.
I think most of Crowfeather's romances are more fun if you headcanon that the she-cat didn't actually like him.
Leafpool, what are you doing?
She's just having a fun night out. You know, Clan's been getting real stressful lately. It's nice to have an excuse to leave.
I guess when a guy takes you to the roller rink, you're like, yeah, okay, I want to play laser tag. Him just immediately assuming that position of, like, I'm Crowfeather and you're gonna date me is just, it's actually very Crowfeather, and I would not want this to have gone in a different way.
Okay, hold on. I was looking for the exact quote, and I have found it.
I can sense there's something between us. Are you feeling this right now? That's literally exactly what he says. He's like, hold up, are you feeling this right now?
Yeah.
There's an energy here.
Yeah, there's an energy I'm picking up on.
Isn't there something here between us? We're more than old friends, aren't we? Or am I imagining it? That's what
Completely taken back. Tawny Pelt didn't know how to reply when she found the words that came out more harshly than she'd intended. Perhaps there was a connection once, 2 weeks ago, but it couldn't work, even if I trusted you. We're in different clans, after all.
She's like, I'm not taking my kids to Wind Clan, buddy. Okay? I'm not going through another custody battle. Like, your track record is not...
Was she gonna take Tiger Star 2 to Wind Clan? He might like that.
Yeah, but as soon as he plants himself there, he would immediately be able to take over, and Hairstar would just say, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, he would.
It seems like Tiger Star has some really valid points about how he needs to control Wind Clan. Just... Crowfeather and Tawny Pelt is really funny to talk about, but I don't believe that they're trying to make this a funny romance. I don't believe that they're trying to make this into a comedy. I think they're going to eventually ask us to take this seriously, and that's where I hesitate, because nothing about this is in any way serious.
Okay, but I have a way easier time taking something funny seriously than something boring.
I think those two things are diametrically opposed.
Like, I really enjoyed it in the first book because it was, like, just funny and stupid. But they need to like do something to spice it up if I'm gonna get reinvested, because now the novelty of like this wacky pairing is worn off. They need to like do something else with them.
Oh, you
Other
know
than
she's
just
gonna
them
take
being, like-
she's gonna take Crowfeather with her to Sky Clan. That's gonna be the main thing right there. I
Oh, they're
guarantee.
gonna go on the
Clan.
quest together. Oh yeah, they're gonna go on the quest together.
Yeah, because
I thought you said
yeah.
I thought you meant that they were going to buy a house together in Sky.
Oh,
Clan. I
no.
didn't realize.
settle down on Sky Clan.
You know, I've heard that SkyClan Gorge property value has gone down quite a bit. We could probably move in together.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I wasn't expecting it. Like, I was not. I was completely blindsided by this Crowfeather scene, because what I expected was for Crowfeather to say, "Well, I'm pretty traumatized actually by half-clan relationships and the way that affected my life, and the idea of taking someone into my clan to be with me from another clan is actually absolutely horrifying from a social perspective." But no.
But Moon,
Bro
that
does not care.
would be taking into account his previous character.
That would be
We-
good.
No, just need to set up a
this is taking
romance.
into account his previous character. He's just forgotten that about 5 arcs happened.
It's kind of important that 5 arcs happened.
I'm taking this because it's like, he cannot change. That's fine.
But in that case, we're just going to be watching another boring romance play out between a hypothetically smart but rarely characterized that way she-cat and Crowfeather, who has not changed since he was a literal tween.
That doesn't sound boring to me.
Okay.
Sounds hilarious.
You go enjoy yourself.
Yeah, if they make it funny, then I'm all in. But if they make it boring, then it's gonna be really. I'm not gonna lose interest.
If they manage to make this a funny romance plotline by the end, I will take back all my words. I'll be happy with that. I'm just fighting a world right now where we're gonna have 1 to 3 books in the back half of this arc with all 3 protagonists in a bland romantic plotline, and I don't want to do that again.
I really hope that killing them is not off the table.
More J Feather Siblings 2026.
Or wait, 2026? That would have to be this year. There's only one other main series release. Are you saying they have Kit's
We're
next
speedrunning
book?
this.
We're
speedrunning
really
this.
speed running. Okay, only one moon passed in this book.
There's
It
a
takes 2
there's a
moons
5-year
to even
time
have.
skip in the next
Oh
book.
boy!
And she just leaked that she has the script pulled up.
The
on
entire
second
time,
monitor.
also, Moonpaw and Golden Paw are they've grown into adults and they live somewhere else now.
Oh no.
And
Did we have any other thoughts on Tawny Crow before we go on to Tawny Solo?
Let's talk Tawny.
All right, let's talk Tawny. So Tawny Pelt is one of the 3 characters in this book. She's very interested in fulfilling her prophecy and speaking with the elders, and that's it.
I really like all of the bits where she sees Starling Paw having a disproportionate interest in her and goes, "That's kind of weird. That makes me a bit uncomfortable."
I do like
She's
that, yeah.
Who the hell is this kid? Who's this guy? Like, what's his deal?
Yes.
So true.
Absolutely
It's so
true. Moon, do you want me to display this on screen?
Feel free.
Okay. Good job, buddy.
Hey, woman who's really old. It's me, child. I love you. Did you know that? Also, I heard you talking in your sleep. I heard you talking in your sleep.
That's great, buddy. I have some work I need to be doing, actually. Can I get by? I need to talk to your elders.
She's kind of just on the plot track right now. I mean, there's not really much derailing that they really did this book.
I would argue where she's tied to Brambleclaw, she does have emotionality and character
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
Like she
Yeah.
very nearly completely attacks Moonpaw physically.
Yeah.
That
Because
was awesome.
she's so upset.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
her plotline with Brambleclaw specifically is genuinely very moving, and is half the reason that Bramblestar's death comes off as heartwarming as it is.
Yes.
But Brambleclaw's kind of dead now, and I don't know if that's gonna last. If Tawny Pelt has any other emotional place to orient herself.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the sentiment was, after his funeral scene, like she was literally like squaring up to attack Moonpaw, like before, like when she caught her like sneaking out of the den when she went to visit him, like before he passed away or whatever. But it was because of her, I guess, eulogy at his funeral that kind of had her start backing up, and they have Moonpaw specifically note that she does seem guilty for the way that she was acting. So I'm just glad to see Tawny Pelt just have such continue. Just continue, please.
Sorry, go ahead, Moon.
Sorry. A lot of people on my Patreon server specifically were upset about the Tawny Pelt Kit flashback.
Oh, the one where they're like playing a game or something.
Yeah. Like where they're like, "I'll never leave you" or whatever. To each
Why
other.
would they be upset about that? That's so heartwarming. I mean, that's kind. It's kind of like.
I think as a retcon, they were upset about it.
Well, I mean, we barely saw kits in general in the first arc. The fact that Tiny Baby Tawny Kit and Tiny Baby Bramble Kit could have said, "I love you, I'll never leave you," somewhere in the background of the first arc is entirely probable.
I mean, yeah, they're babies, like literally, you know.
I only bring it up just because it's something that I
don't
keep seeing people mention.
I mean, yeah, like they're like they can just say whatever, like they're as like kits, like it doesn't matter what they say because they obviously can just like change their mind at any point in time.
You could just as easily tell me that Cinder Kit and Bracken Kit, in the background of the first book, while they were trapped in ShadowClan by Broken Star, had a conversation where they told each other, "I'll always be with you." Cinder Kit says, "I can't wait to grow up and have kits. I really want to have Grey Paw's kits. He seems like a cool guy." Like you could tell me anything. They're kits. They're definitely going to change their decisions as they grow up, so it's not contradicting characters. And we had no access to that perspective in the first arc.
Yeah, I feel like it was really used as like a contrasting moment to really like bring out that, you know, Tawny Pelt does have a lot of regret for not being there for the majority of her brother's life, but she resolves herself, that she has that talk with Squirrelflight, and basically she's like, you would have regrets either way. If you chose to stay here, there's no sense in beating yourself up over the past, for things that couldn't have happened because you'd still be here. You just have different things to, regret. And I felt like it was a really nice sentiment. That whole scene, it was so well done. I mean, seriously.
If you stayed here, you would still be a Tiger Star apologist. Yeah, I liked basically every conversation Tawny Pelt had with Squirrelflight in either of these books. Squirrel Star, I'm still getting used to calling them specifically by new names.
Yeah, I think Tawny Pelt learning to get along with Squirrel Star specifically, and like both of them supporting each other in the wake of that giant loss in their life could probably be the most emotionally resonant place to take her character, but particularly because she's going on a journey and because we had so many of those conversations in this book, I don't know if they would do that, but I also don't know just where else she would get that emotion from for Tawny Pelt's story.
Crowfeather asks Tawny Pelt to stay there, and she's like, no. Squirrelflight asks Tawny Pelt to stay there, and she's like,
yeah.
The real relationship we've all been needing.
That's not entirely true. There is one place where Tawny Pelt's emotional resonance certainly could come from. It's an ongoing relationship with her son. Are we ready to talk about Tiger Star?
Oh god, the plot horse continues.
Was he even here, or did other people just speak for him all book?
He spoke to yell at his mom and then to be mad at the gathering. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of all they reserve him for, if I'm being honest.
He didn't even tell any jokes.
Yeah. See, it's a phenomenon that I like to call Schrodinger's Tiger Star. See when he's there and you can perceive him, he's angry, and when it's time to drive the plot, he's ready to be the bad guy. But, you put him back in the box, you take away the narrative, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I love my mom. I'm not like my grandpa." It's kind of just how he's always been.
Yeah, it seems like the book is set on having StarClan. The series is like, again, like they're set on having StarClan be like the deciding factor and everything. Like it takes away all discussion once StarClan has spoken. Like how last arc, all the discussion they had over the River Clone Leader like didn't matter anymore once like StarClan chose Ice Star. And here, like all the discussion they have over the moon pool, like all that, whether they should go on a quest or not, it all like is thrown out the second that they realize the moon pool is actually gone.
Yeah.
Like Tawny Pelt, you're right, because of this objective thing, and we can stop having any debates.
Yeah. Uh, my hope, my greatest hope would be that they spend the other 3 books continuing this as a conflict of how do you treat the authority in this situation, because Tiger Star is the leader, but Tawny Pelt is a former deputy and also his mom. Like where do they draw the line? How do they learn to listen to each other more? That would be a nice thing to explore. They might be counting this as the resolution already, and I would not prefer that option.
Because I don't think that I don't think Tiger Star is going to be on the journey, so
No.
there's not going to be much development to be had.
Maybe the
forward.
journey is really, really short, and she gets to go home and talk to her son about it.
I feel like it would be infinitely more interesting if he actually did go on the journey with her, because then there's like an immediate point of contention, with Crowfeather, so there's going to be like some contrast between, she has the reasonable voice, well,
More reasonable
in quotation marks. Yeah. For this time where he's being good. Now he's good now. So, I don't know. It's all hypothetical.
I really strongly feel that Tawny Pelt and Tiger Star are currently the most emotionally resonant part that remains of her story. And if they spend too long on this journey not doing any of that, they're going to need to give her more developed relationships with all the elders beyond just appreciating that they too are old for her chapters to not become boring.
Yeah, like every time she talks to the elders, like it feels like it's only because of the prophecy, so it takes away like the authenticity of her like going to them. It's like, oh well, the prophecy says you guys are smart. She doesn't actually like take them as smart without that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. Do you guys feel like, that it's really like, I mean, with the dreams that the elders like tell her about, like, do you think that it's even like, I mean, I'm kind of dancing around the point here, but I feel like they've kind of been hinting at, that they were going to go back to the gorge since Leaf Star. I mean, that was literally her whole thing in the first book, was that she had the dream about the gorge, and then so she goes to the elders, and it's like they try to phrase it as, something that it's like, oh, you don't know what we're going to do, right? And somehow it all like coalesces into being the same thing. But I really don't think that their dreams were so specific enough that, it kind of just felt like it was padding it out, to get to the same point that they were already trying to, get towards. I don't know.
I think that those dreams that Tawny was having and everyone else was having is just telling them to go to the old meeting place, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's just to go back to the gorge, find some stuff out, and come back.
Yeah.
Learn to meditate from the cats of the park.
I mean, dude, honestly, there was even a point where I was considering just, off of the basis of their dreams before she draws that conclusion. I kind of thought it would be cool if it was like something to do with the tunnels again, even if they are like collapsed. But I was like, oh, dark place, water, and, but like once the Wind Clan thing came in with like the wind and like it still doesn't really fit. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like they could really just tell me that these cats, the old Sky Clan territory looked like anything or was anything, and I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's just read Apprentice's Quest, yeah, and they talk about like the Medicine Cat Den and Alderpaw finding it and stuff like that, and I go, I thought that this was like a cliffside. How are they growing herbs here, kind of thing. Well, like I was already like on 10 levels of confused.
Yeah. It's always been kind of up to interpretation. Though in like Leaf Star's manga, it's clearly more of like a Red Rock, type of area.
It looks like ThunderClan in Leaf Star's manga.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the graphic novel adaptations to actually get to A, the new territory, and B, SkyClan. Like I'm really looking forward to how these things are drawn out in an official sense.
Oh, that's gonna be a long time to get to Vision of Shadows.
Well, I mean, not unless they do
might not get
Firestar's
there.
Quest around Power 3, like the Wings of Fire books did Darkstalker when it came out.
That's assuming a lot.
I know.
I was assuming they would skip the super editions
Almost-
entirely.
Like, I almost don't think the graphic novels will get to A Vision of Shadows. I think they'll just, like, reboot again or something. I don't know. It seems so far away.
At this
I really
point,
hope
I
they
expect
do.
them to get to Oots, but I don't know if they'll get past it. I would like them to.
Guys,
Because the problem is, like,
Dawn of the Clans.
why? Yeah, but why the graphic novels are so lucrative is that it's Prophecies Begin again, and Prophecies Begin is like a starting point, and it's very easy to get new people in.
Yeah.
So once they start getting into the later arcs with those graphic novel adaptations, they're not going to be as like successful just by nature of it. They're going to run into the same problem they're having with the current story arcs, where it's like it's a lot of stuff to get to the point.
But then you have
to get to
something
the
like
current,
Dawn of the
like,
Clans,
storyline.
which is, for all intents and purposes, a new start on its own. And I don't know if they would even choose to adapt that one because so few fans have read it to this day.
Well, even if you look at the sales numbers, they didn't sell like the last arcs did, or the arcs after them.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. They kept making novellas long after novellas were doing well. So my hope is that they do the same exact thing with the graphic novels. But right now, the graphic novels are outselling the main series books like 9-10 times. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely.
right now they're doing
Yeah.
fantastic. But we haven't even started the New Prophecies graphic novels. And I'm more interested to see what sales will be like when we are working with a whole different creative team, a whole different arc, a much less popular arc and cast of characters, and see if they still do well because they are graphic novels, or if they start going down. I would love them to keep going forever.
I think at least the New Prophecy ones will do well because they're building off the hype of the other ones. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I think Power of Three is a more popular arc than the New Prophecy.
significantly.
I think that the
Yeah.
sales even are better even now than the New Prophecy sales.
Because the New Prophecy just isn't that good.
It's kind of boring. It's kind of boring because they're always walking.
But maybe the graphic
Or
novel
nothing
will
is
fix
happening
that,
at all,
'cause
like in the last one.
they're squishing the whole thing in half. It might be better.
Yeah, maybe the visual perspective will be what we needed, instead of having to read, like, they walked here, they,
I
they
already
continued
feel
to
that way,
here.
honestly, because like there's so much that you can cut from those books specifically because the characters aren't even having like emotional connections most of the time.
Even having the characters just emote at each other on the page would make for better relationship building across the traveling group than what we got in the books.
Yeah.
Anyway, even if Tiger Star isn't in character, I think that Dovewing coming to another clan to apologize for Tiger Star is in character for Dovewing.
Entirely, and it's beautiful.
I think that she's recovered. She's recovered from her shadow sight banana peel.
Speaking of Dovewing, I don't think I'll have any other time to bring this up. I probably should have brought up when we were talking about Crowfeather dying, but there was a pretty big continuity error here with Ivypool, Dovewing's sister. In this book.
Never heard.
So you know how Ivypool was on the quest, right? I mean, she was gone with Starling Paw and Crowfeather and all of them.
She sure
and all that
was.
stuff, right?
But don't
Yeah.
worry, because she left her duplicate at home.
That's exactly what I was. Yeah. So there's a Moonpaw chapter where she's like still assigning like Kat's duties, to do for the day, and it's like, dude, like she's unlocked this teleportation clone power, bro. Like, oh my
yeah.
god.
I don't know how many people will even get the reference I'm about to say. I don't know if our fandoms cross over that much, but I think what Ivypool did is that she saw, well, okay, I need to go on this journey, but I can't leave ThunderClan deputy list. We can't have that. So naturally, what I need to do is find the mirror pool from My Little Pony and just give myself a quick clone so we can hop on over on the journey.
Why are we talking about My Little Pony?
Because it's related, okay?
So Silverstream.
So Silverstream.
I love Wing Dovewing.
Really, I hadn't guessed.
I just I love how we've got a character, right? She's a silly little gray cat, and she sees somebody in another place or somebody in another situation, and she doesn't see like she doesn't like even compartmentalize the borderlines between her and that problem. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I really like it whenever they take her character and they say she's going over to this clan, she's going over to that clan, she's just acting on her own because she's not going to let the politics of it stop her, even if she is working on behalf of her unreasonable husband.
Yeah, that's Devlin.
And everybody you know who's as nice as Dovewing has a bad boyfriend.
That is sad. Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nice people should get better boyfriends.
Yeah, I think that everyone should break up with their boyfriend. Anyway.
Do all of your friends say, hey, your boyfriend's a little mean? Break up.
Mm-hmm. Always break up with your boyfriend. It's the answer.
Or alternatively, just never get a boyfriend. Great option too.
Girlfriends are right there.
So true. I think we are moving on to a quick question. Given the ThunderClan associations and the problems she currently has with ShadowClan and the Crowfeather romance, where, and honestly also the travel to SkyClan, where do we think she will be at the end of the series?
Well,
Is that a question?
WindClan Nursery!
no, please God. See,
I mean, it has to be WindClan, right?
I hope not. I hope Crowfeather renounces his deputyship, and he either dies or Crowfeather's like, forget this whole WindClan thing. It's time to move on to the next woman. Let's go to ShadowClan.
Crowfeather likes the idea of having another wife so much that he quits his job and leaves his family right after that whole, reconnecting with my son who I love so much thing. He just goes.
Yeah.
Time to ditch.
He's like, forget about it. Oh, Men of the Stars was forever ago. This is a supplementary book.
My dream would be that Tawny Pelt and Crowfeather decide ultimately not to get together. They have feelings for each other, but they both have things they value more. And that Tawny Pelt, and that Cloverfoot, in some conflict down the line, ends up sacrificing her life. And Tiger Star makes Tawny Pelt his deputy because he realizes that he needs someone strong enough to challenge him with his strong personality he has.
No, but she's so old.
I don't think,
so
yeah.
Okay, so
think
what
I'm
does
so.
it all
fine with
lead
old
to?
deputy. Crowfeather's also an old deputy.
You think they're gonna kill Cloverfoot?
I don't think they
think so.
remember Cloverfoot is there half the time.
I don't think Cloverfoot's making it to... I don't think she's making it to leader.
No way. No.
Yeah. I think, the moment they want they want to set up the next ShadowClan leader is when Cloverfoot dies, and not until then.
Mm-hmm.
He should do the right thing and make his wife the deputy instead. Let's go Dovewing.
If Crowfeather's allowed to be deputy and Squirrel Star's allowed to be leader, I think Tawny Pelt should be allowed to be deputy to Tiger Star.
But Dovestar.
I love the idea of Dovestar, but I don't know if even Dovestar loves the idea of Dovestar.
Yeah,
She
I don't
runs
know
on
if,
freedom.
I don't know if the nepotism is that strong in Tiger Star's veins when he has Light Leap right there.
It's true.
Very true. Very
And
true.
Light Leap is
I'd
literally
love to
just
see
a
Lightly
smaller
deputy.
hint.
I'd also be perfectly content with Tawny Pelt joining ThunderClan and becoming Squirrel Star's new wife.
I think moving on to your brother's sister is kind of weird, though.
Well,
I joked about it too, but I think that in a realistic sense, it's kind of off.
it's happened plenty throughout real human history.
Yeah, but let's think about women as objects for a second when we talk about that problem.
Yeah.
The thing is, because of what they did in this book, it can't really happen anymore because they
Trauma bonded.
Yeah, the trauma bonded off of a family member, basically, a shared family member. So at this point, they're kind of like family. So they wouldn't really, they can't really do it anymore.
Maybe Tawny Pelt should join SkyClan and become Leaf Star's wife.
They're
Give it up for
probably
old
around
Yuri.
the same age.
I'm just trying
Let's
to get
give it up
Tawny
for
Pelt
old
away from
Yuri.
Crowfeather in any way I can.
I know that you're trying to give me funnier ideas here, but you can't get funnier than how Crowfeather acted in this book. You can't beat it.
But I don't think Crowfeather is going to stay funny outside of the realm of headcanon. I see the spiral, I see the trajectory, and I don't see funny. I see, oh no, bland romance, but again.
But yeah, WindClan Nursery.
I'm just gonna pray that it's ShadowClan, and I really feel like it doesn't really hit as hard, with it being we're old, this is a forbidden relationship, we have to go against our entire families, for it to end up in an actual relationship. There has to be some level of responsibility, otherwise it's going outside the realm of these characters.
because the book is so positive of what's his name, Sky Clan cat going to Shadow Clan son of Tiger Star going to Sky Clan.
Birch Feather.
Birch
yes.
Feather, yeah.
Because they're so positive of Birch Feather going to Sky Clan, I think they're gonna also be positive of Tawny Pelt going to Wind Clan. Like Tiger Star's already like accepted that his family can go to another clan. So
Birch Feather was your training course in accepting cross-clan relationships.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go back on saying that cross-clan relationships are wrong or that family's more important than cross-clan relationships. I don't think they're gonna like reverse that. I think
but maybe your clan is more important than a
should follow their...
Boy, he sure did catch that bird really
Have you read Warrior Cats?
Yeah, but I have yearned for 20 years and continue to learn that eventually they'll figure out that maybe a crush you had in one day is not the most important defining part of your life.
It is, but only if you're a boy.
Oh, no.
That's how it works.
No.
Anyway.
Some rethinking to do.
I know this is skipping ahead This is skipping ahead like one topic, right?
Well, I was just going to say, we've talked about Tawny Pelt's relationships in ThunderClan quite a bit over other bullet points. Did anyone have something to add about that specifically, or should we skip it?
What I'm going to say is kind of transitional.
Okay.
So, I think realistically, if they are not just, if the Elder's Quest is about more than just finding a new way to connect with their elders, right? Like if they're actually going to leave territory for any reason, right? Mm-hmm. Like as a group, all the cats. I think that much like in the New Prophecy, the kind of border between clans is probably going to come down quite a bit for a while. So, and they went over this a lot in the New Prophecy, is that like taking Warrior Cats seriously for a second, pretending that it's not Warrior Cats. In the New Prophecy, they had a lot of situations where borders were melted and the kits were all friends with each other, the apprentices were friends with each other, the cats formed relationships with cats that they would not have formed relationships with otherwise, because they were all just kind of one big group of cats all working together, all being one clan in some aspect. I think that if they go through this process again from the perspective of someone who cares about this series and cares about, the implications that they've made already, I think that Tawny Pelt and Crowfeather's relationship is going to probably mostly depend on this kind of like clan melt a bit, and then at the end of the clan melt and when everyone is like finding new territories and figuring out where they want to be for the rest of their lives, I think that characters like Tawny Pelt are going to go, I have made this connection with Crowfeather and I've decided to settle in Wind Clan in a much more natural way than the whole like leaving Shadow Clan to go be in Wind Clan thing.
I would definitely accept that more. I would be happy if they went in that direction to at least make it serve a thematic purpose.
But I don't know if they're actually going to leave.
I think it's like, I don't really get the trial system. Like, would they make Tawny Pelt like to play some games to like get accepted in with Crowfeather?
Catch this frog.
Yeah.
It's all kind of just like show and ceremony, like everything else they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do feel like the clans have like, they don't really fight anymore. I mean, like they fight verbally, but they don't really like physically fight anymore. They don't have evil cats anymore.
Yeah.
There's no war happening between the clans. Like, kind of getting further and further away from that.
Yeah.
The only way for
So our last few antagonists were, we did have Splashtail and Mini Posse.
But there's no, basically there's no conflict between good clans anymore. In order for there to actually be a war, they have to have an evil cat take over.
And suddenly turn
slowly
all
getting
of
further
them
away
into
from like the
fearful
days of
minions.
Sunning Rocks, where like the cat clans could like get into fights with each other without either like leader being named evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can't really do any actual fighting over territory like they did at the beginning, and I feel like some of that is just the implications that surround the territories now, like as things that have defined markers, and as things that have kind of always been shifting and changing, was kind of the implication that the first series had, and now we don't have that anymore
because we've seen every second of the new territory and their borders.
And it's because of like over the part of the code that Bramblestar added where they have to like work together, and because of like the Blazing Star prophecy, like that sort of thing. Ever since like then, it's been shifting towards like, well, wars and like becoming like the opposite of like what they're working towards.
Yeah,
trending towards peace as all natural populations.
Because now they like
do.
It's like kind of like a major shift between like the beginning of Warrior Cats and now.
Yeah. I think the only instance of like actual combat in this book was at the very end where they Golden Paw shows up and like they beat up that kitty pet, that was like threatening them at the very end of the book, and it was like
one
done
paragraph.
in a single, yeah, exactly, in a single paragraph.
Yeah, we haven't had a prey shortage in a while either.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I guess there in the beginning of the arc there was the poison prey in Sky Clan or something, but then they forgot about it. They like forgot it, so the prey started tasting good again, being normal again, because they forgot that it was a problem.
Yeah. All that pollution from gentrifying the moon pool. What do you mean there's a parking lot?
A bike parking lot, no less.
They've laid their claim here. They put down a sign.
And here's where I'm going to attempt to make a shoddy transition. Because the moon pool has now been covered in a bike lot, there is an implication, in my opinion, that the clans very well may be traveling away from the lake into another territory. Where do we think they will end up?
I'm really hoping that it's going to be the Wildcats territory. Like I kind of feel like that's the natural.
You think they're going to steal land from the native people?
Well, no, not like
Are the Wildcats
in that
still there?
sense. I don't really know. I'm going to be honest, guys. I did not read that book.
I mean, the Wildcats are still there. We meet them. We stay with them.
I did read Ivy Pool's Heart, but I don't remember enough of it.
Would it be out of the question to say that there's not enough room for like the other clans to populate that area?
They can make it up anywhere.
Yeah.
Like they could easily say, "Oh, by Sky Clan there's enough room." Oh, they could say, "Oh, by the Wildcats there's enough room." They could just make up a place where they have enough room.
Yeah.
So it's more like thematically like what makes more sense.
Yeah, and right now they're kind of just going down the list of where can we go to talk to Star Clan again,
But yeah, based on the blurb for the next book, Sky Clan's at very least going to be a questionable. It's not going to be surefire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm leaning away from Sky Clan being the new permanent place, specifically because they're going to journey there in book 4, and I don't think they're going to spend... I don't think they're going to fully rewrite Midnight and spend an entire book getting there, say, oh yeah, this is where we should go, and then spend the next 2 books getting the rest of the clans there. So my thought is that they will get there and find out that they actually don't need to be in Sky Clan, they need to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
The Whispering Cave is going to work.
I mean, I think it works as well as any other StarClan spot.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, I guess, the elders did dream of it or something, or we assume they did.
Very vaguely, but it's kind of, I feel like it would be a moot point if they didn't have some sort of, like, interaction there, like, with that being, like, the entire purpose of them going.
What's the point of if Bramblestar can just talk to Moonpa?
You see, okay, but he's Bramblestar, and he needed to say...
He got his one phone call before he went to StarClan.
I want him to keep talking to Moonpaw. I want when they integrate the culture of the Wildcats, I want him to be Moonpaw's spirit guide guy.
Peak. Cinema.
I really want the spirit guides. I really, really, really want every single kitten to have, like, their own personal ghost really badly. And I know that that's like, oh, they're just going to use that for, like, fan service. It's like, yeah, and I'm fan.
You wish to be serviced.
I really need to read Ivy Pool's book.
Yeah, oh my gosh, can't wait to have Barry Nose as my spirit guide.
Yes! You see what I mean?
Oh no!
God, imagine getting Barry Nose. Imagine you're like, okay. So you go,
everyone
go up
pats
to your,
you on the back.
Your great grandpa Lion Blaze, because he's everyone's great grandpa, right? You go up to great grandpa Lion Blaze, and he's like, oh, and who's your ghost guide? And you're like, Barry Nose.
He
and
says
he's
his
like,
name is Barry Nose.
Not again. I really like the idea of them having, like, this connection to an older character, or even a character that we've never heard of, like some ancient cat that's, like, completely new. Like, I love ghosts, actually. I've decided that I'm on the side of working partners now, and I'll take all the ghosts I can get.
I just like relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it actually,
the ghosts imply a relationship.
Would work really well in keeping their marketable characters relevant. Like, they want to sell Firestar plushies. They can still have Firestar be in the books.
What special new protagonist gets to have Firestar as his spirit guide?
Oh yeah, that's going to be very special.
Nightheart 2.
Imagine there's a kid who's lying about getting Firestar, but they actually have, like,
Brackenfur?
some random nobody.
Brackenfur just died and he becomes a spirit guide. I have the great leader Firestar.
I just feel like it would add this whole another like we've got these dimensions, right? We've got like, okay, yeah, they're they get a mentor and they go into like this, they either become a warrior or medicine cat, and they're in this clan and stuff like that. I think which cat is their like their spiritual guide would just add like another complete angle to that.
They're like the allegiances would like list all of them. Even the ones
Oh
that,
man,
don't
I
get mentioned by the
would
book.
hope
would
they
get
wouldn't
so
actually.
dense. Oh my gosh. Any thoughts beyond that about the journey or broad clan future?
Storm Clan too.
All right, then, very quick question, because we barely have any updates from the last book, but is Hawkstar becoming leader? Is Leafstar retiring?
Eventually.
God, I sure hope so.
I think that they're going to either eventually decide that Leafstar, like Leafstar's going to decide on her own that it's her time, or they're going to go, actually, old people are important, and that's the lesson.
She was right all along. We should have been listening to her.
I think Leafstar, they're going to have Leafstar one last, like, thing that's, like, really, like, one last leadership thing or something, one last, like, hurrah, where, like, they say, oh, wow, Leafstar, you're so smart and so, like, wise. And then, like, she'll transition the leadership to Hawkstar.
How many lives do you think Leafstar has?
17.
7. I'm gonna go with 7.
The rest of them.
Got to be in the 20s by now, right?
I just feel like this particular plotline is sort of following the model of Froston's warrior name of the last arc, in that, oh, it was way past time for this to happen in book 1, but because of our total lack of connection to StarClan, we're gonna have to wait until book 6.
I guess on some level, like, I don't even care about the Hawkwing Leafstar leader situation. Like, who wins, who loses, it does not matter.
Wait, plot twist, they do it at the Whispering Caves?
Leafstar and Hawkwing both go to the Whispering Caves on the journey.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That'll leave SkyClan doing great at home.
Yeah.
I guess that...
Sterling I'll take it. Sterling Paul can do it. He knows. He's confident now.
I mean, I guess that is another question. Who all do you think is going on this journey? If you had to pick a group.
If I had to pick one, or if I had to pick what I thought.
If you had to make an educated guess.
I'm gonna say Dovewing. I think it's
Easily Waffle Pelt. I mean, it's such an important character.
Because Dovewing helped Tawny Pelt realize they had to go to SkyClan. Maybe.
Maybe Cloudtail.
I think Cloudtail's definitely the most likely, because I don't think they gave him... I want to think that they didn't give him a prologue for no reason. They also keep bringing up how Tawny Pelt has not gotten to speak to Oakfur in ShadowClan, and I wonder if he's coming.
Yeah, I definitely think Oakfur, like, for sure. I mean, they wouldn't leave that element, aside, or at the very least, she's still gonna, like, talk to him before they go, you know what I mean? I don't know what he would really add, though. He'd be like, yeah, so I had a dream, too. She's like, we got that.
No, we got it. We know where we're going. Come on, buddy.
I think either Frecklewish. I think Frecklewish will probably go. One of the medicine cats. Like, I think a SkyClan medicine cat, that makes a lot of sense to go to SkyClan. So I think either Frecklewish or Fidget Flake.
Frecklewish would make more sense, but they're very attached to Fidget Flake lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe because Fidget Flake just went to the tribe, they'll, like, switch to Frecklewish for this one.
And Frecklewish is also one of the only SkyClan cats who has, like, actually made the journey to the gorge and has any clue where they're going, which would make her valuable.
That makes sense.
Now,
Fidget Paw did do it, but as an apprentice, and I don't know how vividly he remembers.
The few times she's actually been characterized in the past, she's been a bit, like, stern. Like, she's been a bit serious and kind of like drill sergeant-y. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that they remember that, so I wonder how they're gonna characterize her.
She's just gonna be medicine cat. That's literally, that's gonna be it. Like, eat these herbs.
When she was a kid, she was very kind and compassionate, but serious, playing off of Echo Song's more jokey medicine cat affections.
I don't know what the goal was, but it was just that but I mean, she was a kid. She was still like a lanky teenager when she was Frecklepaw.
Yeah.
I think we'll see old SkyClan cats.
Sparrow
like
Pelt?
Ebony Claw. Like Ebony Claw, the ones that are still alive.
I would love
wouldn't
to
it be
see
nice?
Ebony Claw. Oh, that would be so nice.
Come back to Sky Clan.
Please, my darling.
They probably formed like a pseudo like neighborhood watch group over there.
You know who I think would demand to go on the journey, but would not get accepted?
Who might that be?
Starling Paw.
Very true.
Oh, he seems, but he goes on the journey, then he can't stay and watch for the
Yeah, exactly. Somebody has to
cat.
stay on.
I guess if
Oh,
he thinks,
well, that's why I think
well,
like
he's a
he would
crowbar
have
on the
a.
journey.
I think he would have
He
a
might go on
scene
the journey
of
to-
asking to go, and everyone would say, "No, kid, this is specifically an old person journey."
It's like,
But
no,
I'm
We
important.
need someone. Starling Paw, you don't understand. We need someone to stay at the clans because the other two protagonists are going to be on the quest.
Oh, I understand. You need me and the secret group to keep watch over.
I
all
mean,
of these
Starling Paw
guys.
thinks that the problem of the intruder is solved, but we don't actually know what the. I mean, what the
So,
heck?
literally-
that was,
no.
We don't actually
No,
know what the heck
no.
that was.
The expletive was warranted there because it was so nothing and it was just thrown in at the last second. Like, hey guys, don't forget there's something going on here too. Hey guys, you gonna read this part in the next book?
At night in Sky Clan, there's noises and some weird stuff happens, and we don't know what that is.
No clue.
And Starling Paw thinks he knows what that was, which was Moonpaw's ghost, but that's not the case.
He thinks he has saved the day.
Yeah, but he thinks that's over, even though it's not over, and it's still completely confusing because it was just kind of dropped on us.
I loved the chapter. I loved he said he had saved the clans. In his mind, he pictured Kite Scratch and wondered whether his father was watching him. You proud of me too? He asked silently. He's like, he just tells Moonpaw to go away.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, my dad must be so proud of me.
I'm the hero they need.
Hey dad, did you see me be a prick? Yeah, I hope you're proud of me.
Dad, I found a kitten sneaking around our territory. I told him to get lost, and then I escorted them to the border like a proper warrior. I did all this in secret while people were asleep, because they would have told me to stop it and get down from there. But I knew you'd approve of me, Dad.
He's like, you killed me, son. You killed me. You killed me, boy.
Starling Paw, this book had a story about descending into full-on arrogance and delusion. And as Moon brought up earlier, there's a serious question at this point as to whether or not we're getting a protagonist or a POV antagonist again for the first time since Clear Sky, because he sure seems to be leading that way.
It's just how Warrior Cat's protagonists look like to the rest of the cats in the clan.
Okay, but if it's the case, right? He's actually pretty well set up.
He is.
I would argue that, like, I completely believe with the trajectory he's had over the last 3 books, well, last 2 books, that he could just decide to become in charge for some reason.
Yep.
I think there's like a 100% chance that he's like what the prophecy's about. But they did leave they left in the choice that there's a choice he can make. So maybe at the last second he becomes good again. But I think he is like
I don't know.
the deceiver.
I still think that that Morning Kid is the deceiver. Like I feel like I don't really know. I feel like it would be so weird to have it be Starling Paw, dude. Like I'm just
Morning Kid wasn't on the journey.
I know, but just on a conceptual basis, does it have to be like one of the like did they specify in the prophecy that it had to be one
of
them
the
traveling
cats
with,
here.
But
Here
okay.
I think
with
the two
them.
so
cats
it
could
would-
be Morning Kid, and then the deceiver could be Starling Paw. Like they can be
Okay,
two separate
yeah.
prophecies.
so it wasn't just Crowfeather generalizing. Like it was actually like Stone Teller was like, yeah, it has to be one of these people here.
I mean, we're hearing the whole prophecy secondhand, so we don't actually know what Stone Teller said, but Crowfeather implies that the exact thing he said was, one of the cats here will be faced with a choice. This deceiver might walk a dark path that could cause great pain to all the clans.
Okay.
See, like that's why I don't think Starling Paw is going to be evil, because they say that he has a choice not to. And I feel like if they wanted him to be evil, they would have went all in and said this deceiver will walk a dark path and will. Like I think they would have went full in on the darkness of the prophecy instead of saying, oh, maybe. Like I feel like there's this choice where he's at some point in time he's going to realize the error of his ways.
Yeah, I feel like in retrospect that probably is why this arrogant, level of his personality is starting to come out now, so that they could do the. It's like 3 a.m. It's like wake up, Sunnyfall.
I am guessing that he's going to go just far enough to hurt some cats where they're starting to turn on him. They don't like what he's doing, but he's not going to cross some sort of big I am evil line. Someone talks him down or shows him the light. I don't know.
I mean, the prophecy did imply that there was like a prevention that had to happen.
But I mean, right now, his current trajectory is that he thinks he's the only one who can save everyone. He doesn't trust anyone else around him to not secretly be surreptitiously undermining them. He doesn't respect authority, and he's being rewarded for standing up and doing things that other cats don't like.
Crowfeather, is that you? Is that you?
But like intentionally this time. They're doing this with purpose.
No, see, like I think that his mentor was incredibly correct in encouraging him to yell at Crowfeather, and incredibly correct in encouraging him to speak his mind all the time, and he should speak his mind all the time. He just shouldn't be in charge.
I was going to say that his mentor should have added an addendum that you should speak your mind, but maybe not in the middle of a gathering or a clan meeting. Maybe discuss it with at least one person who has slightly more experience first.
Yeah,
Well, luckily she's not a coward like you are.
Let's make sure that you have a trusted adult you can come to talk about your problems and get some advice. That's what we'd do.
He took it so literally.
Oh, yeah. But, like...
He's been doing that the whole time. He's
been doing that since day one.
I think it's perfect for his character that he learns the lesson to, like, you know, not judge Fidget Flake and immediately forgets it. I feel like that's, like, perfect for his level of maturity, that he would, like, learn something and then immediately go back on it.
Yeah.
And say, yeah, you know, I'm going to go back to accusing cats of, like, being evil.
Well, I think it's not even that he necessarily learned the lesson in the first place. He learned, Fidget Flake is not necessarily suspicious. But that means someone else is.
He kind of does a lot of that flip-flop.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought it was so stupid the way they did Crowfeather's like ghost thing with him. It's like, dude, why would you not talk to him like immediately, bro? Or at least like exclaim and have him notice. It's like, no, we gotta have this last 3 chapters, okay?
Well, he doesn't want to be weird, Hawkkz. He doesn't want to be one of those weirdos who can see ghosts.
Yeah, never mind Crowfeather's literal spirit astral projecting out of his body, you know, after just plummeting like 50 feet down a gorge.
It was
you know?
a dream.
I was like, nah, it's cool.
Okay. Starling Paw's not seeing anying.
He doesn't
He's
want
still
like, to
gaslights
make sure that
everybody.
like this cat that he's journeying with isn't dead. Like, nah,
No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to him.
Starling Paw is the deceiver because he's just a massive idiot.
See, that is the one and only thing that stops me from saying that he's obviously the deceiver. Because, I mean, other than deceiving himself, he totally believes his own hype. Like, he's not intentionally lying to people. He just has no touch with reality anymore.
Yeah.
But the fact that the book is not, like, entertaining the idea of Starling Paw being the deceiver is kind of, like, why he is it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like misleading you to everyone else.
That's kind of the same energy that I think that Morning Kit isn't the real Morning Kit, though. You know.
Yeah.
Just the blatant.
Why would the book entertain something that isn't?
No. What I mean is, like, I think that they are being very red herring-ish this arc. Is what I mean to say. Like, I think that they're putting a lot of things out there that they like as ideas that they're not actually acting on. You know.
But in that case, like, Moonpaw being a chimera is one of the very first things we learned about her before any of the books came out. The idea that she was at war with her twin from the womb is one of the first fan theories that spiraled out of control. That feels like a red herring to me, more than the just having a sister does.
I don't know. I feel like conceptually, like, Moon's idea is, like, really, really cool. But I don't know if I have enough respect for them to handle that, you know, if it did, like, actually occur within the books.
I know I do not have enough respect for them to do that.
I think we're leaning on an assumption, right? And that assumption is Aaron Hunter Collective does not know what the word chimera means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that that assumption is what's deciding the two paths. If they know what chimera means and they still allowed the character to be described as a chimera on the website, assuming it wasn't just the website editor and nobody else, but there was a lot of detail in that. There was a lot of detail there that I imagine the website editor isn't actually allowed to add. Either way, if the Warrior Cats team knows what a chimera is, then that's kind of what I'm leaning on. Like essentially, yeah. I am on a truck, and the truck is driving down a road that is titled Warrior Cats Knows What Chimera Means. And if you're not on that road, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm very strongly on the other road because, frankly, if the Aarons knew anything basic about Warrior Cats, about cats, I think most of the series would go very differently.
Okay, Sunny, but like if what I said is true, I am going to demand something of you.
I will accept any debt you would like me to pay.
Okay.
It's so cool though. I really hope something like that happens. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like we're so used to assuming the worst, you know, that when something happens that isn't the worst, we just kind of make the shocked Pikachu face.
Well, I don't think that Moonpaw having a dead sibling would be the worst. Like they gave us a book.
No, not of the plot. I mean the worst of the authors. Oh. Like I'm not saying that there's a better path or a worse path for the books to go in. I'm just saying when it comes to what they have thought of and what they've considered when writing these books, we tend to underestimate them very heavily.
Okay.
But they are adult human beings.
In that case, I should make an addendum to the road sign of the road I'm currently traveling on. My sign says, the Warrior Cats team does not know / does not care what chimera means.
I just feel like every single time in the past I've made a theory where it's like really complicated, like the resolution was instead the most simple like thing. Like what the actual thing that's happening was like actually like way simpler than that. Like even like thinking about like I'm talking about like, you know, Ashfur's ghost and all that stuff, like there really was nothing beyond it just being Ashfur's ghost. It was just like, oh. So I feel like sometimes like it's the simplest explanation's often the safest bet.
I think that while Ashfur being the imposter was definitely the simplest explanation, it was also very heavily foreshadowed and very heavily implied from the very beginning of the arc, which is something that I think is strong writing as opposed to weak writing.
Yeah. But I would say that with Moonpaw and her sister, they did give us an entire book and a half of setup and foreshadowing there, and then they resolved it with the conversation with Moonpaw's parents. It's just that they resolved it much earlier than the arc ended, because most of her arc does not seem to be concerned with the mystery of what Moonkitti is, but the mystery of how the heck do we stop her.
I don't think we can. I like you know how Moonpaw like leaves?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know that part?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Moonpaw leaving makes a lot of sense because there's absolutely nothing that anybody can or has been able to do to help her. And she's completely at the end of her rope, and the book has never given us any actual idea as to how to deal with this problem.
I have a way for her to deal with this problem, but it requires them time traveling back to Omen of the Stars. I think the actual way to deal with this problem would be Jay Feather going into her dreams, having a heart-to-heart with Moonkitti, and forcing empathy into her.
I don't know if that's actually in his power spread.
No, but he could take her through a world tour of various memories and convince him of his point in a way that someone like Brambleclaw probably couldn't.
Here it is, it's Broken Kit being born. I think that Moonkitti also has a way to solve this problem. It's that Moonpaw dies and she's her friend forever in the ghost zone.
That sounds like a bad ending.
But, I mean, it's the only ending that we've been actually presented with.
Yeah.
See, it makes me wonder if in the next book, which I'm hoping that she's going to, you know, go more like serious on those types of threats and like actually presents like a reasonable, you know, threat to her life. I imagine the entire thing with Golden Paw being there is that so the possession can take place for her to harm him again. And I don't really know how they're going to get around that. I mean, I think that's kind of interesting.
I don't know how to fix that problem. I don't have any ideas whatsoever as to how to fix Moonpaw's problem. At this point, it's like she's in very serious danger from a very real threat, and it doesn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for the sisters to do another exorcism.
They're gonna try and fail, I think.
I think they genuinely just need to invent new lore in order to solve this problem. That's why I think it's not really working as a mystery, because it's not something that has foreshadowing, it's something that has dread. Moonpaw's story seems to mostly be about feeling futile, feeling misery for an unstoppable situation.
Yeah.
Definitely makes me feel that way.
No.
Sorry, Akira, go on.
I don't think they're gonna erase Moonkitti. I don't think, or like force her to go to StarClan, because I think that ignores the Moonkitti side of the like conflict, where like she actually like, I feel like I don't know, I just maybe not like, maybe they will do it anyway, but like I feel like it wouldn't feel satisfying to send Moonkitti to StarClan and just have Moonkitti just be like clear, because that kind of erases the impact of the. It makes it seem like Moonkitt's like, it just seems too easy of a solution, because they've made it seem so difficult. Where it'd be more satisfying if they found a way for them to work together.
Yeah, that's actually
coexist.
Yeah, that's placing some threads in my mind. In like a cooler, like edgier, warrior cats. Maybe this is an alternate dimension here. Okay, so this is not real. What if the only way to stop Moonkitti is for Moonpaw to die? And it becomes,
I think that would be a bad message for the children.
Oh yeah, no. When I said that earlier, I was being very silly. By the way.
No. But what if it's like presented as like, it's evident of self-sacrifice, or like I don't think have they
glorifying
really...
self-sacrifice in general is a thing we should probably stop doing.
Yeah, J-Claw.
Okay, hypothetical. How would you feel if we're in book 6 and StarClan has come back? We've come to a new place and we can connect with them. Let's say that Snowfur brings Moss Kit and Juniper Kit and one of those kits from the beginning of Secrets of the Clans, and comes down to meet Moonkitti, and they talk to her. Moonkitti gets to know them and goes willingly back up to StarClan now that she has demonstrable proof that she can make friends there.
Yeah, but at the same time, like Moonkitti, I think like something that's happened to Moonkitti is that she probably couldn't relate to the kids anymore, because she's been through so much. Yeah. And like she's physically grown, she's larger than them.
I think physical size in StarClan should
like
probably
really
stop
messed
mattering.
up kid up there. Oh, sorry.
No, go right ahead.
I'm sure there's some really messed up kid up there. Like I'm sure, like maybe she could connect with Badgerfang. Like I don't know. I don't think that she's too far removed from other children. Really, I think that she might be too child, but I don't think that she's going to StarClan. If I were to actually guess as to what they're going to do with Moonkitti, it's one of two things. The first is that she kind of like she learns to be to work together with Moonpaw in some vague way, and the second is that she literally gets merged with Moonpaw's soul or something, and like she's two, maybe they're two halves of the same whole or something else that's going to be problematic, or potentially they're going to make Moonpaw's body a timeshare. Like I think that there's all sorts of things that they're going to do with her that aren't sending her to StarClan.
So there's an investment opportunity.
Yeah, there's an investment opportunity, and we need you to come to this meeting. And if you come to this meeting, you will get a free gift card.
Free gift card to where? Is it like a Visa gift card? Can I use it anywhere, or are you sticking me with Walmart?
It only works at Tiger Star's Alpine Estates. Okay.
Gosh darn it! I haven't even been there in like 10 years. There's none around me.
You're gonna get company script for this?
Dude, all the kids that are watching this are like, man, these people are so old.
20s to 30s, man. That's when you become ancient. No one above that even lives.
But yeah, I don't think that. I do not think that Moonkitti is being exercised anytime soon. Not after what Brambleclaw failed to do. That would be so disappointing.
Yeah. Okay. We've gotten off track and we're discussing hypotheticals on a question none of us can answer. Shall we get back to Starling Paw?
Okay.
So Starling Paw, in addition to being a little snot himself, has this book stepped it up by forming his own self-proclaimed secret group. That is the official name that he decides to give it. He teams up with Beasting and Duskshine and Ridgeglow and half with his sister Robinpaw, who's not totally on board with this but is willing to cover for them, so that they can track down the clear, obvious, duplicitous cats haunting their camp.
Like Needletail, but less cool.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was such a nothing burger.
See, what makes it kind of better than Needletail, in my opinion, is there isn't a dark tail here. There isn't some big evil cat that's tempting them down this path. It's like if Needletail started the kin herself and got a few of her apprentice clanmates to join them, and she just was the face of that operation from then on.
Oh my god. So Starling Paw is their Darktail?
I don't think he's that bad.
Oh my god.
But as far as being the tempting face of this rebellious operation against the clans, or for the clans, hypothetically, but not really.
Yeah. By the end of the arc, they're gonna take him out to the lake and start drowning people again. You know, just business as usual.
It feels like it's a little club.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't even feel malicious. I mean, maybe it could grow to be malicious, but for now, it's just a clique, really.
You gotta
just
start
sneaking
somewhere.
out after dark.
I imagine like Splashtail. This is how Splashtail started. It's kind of like probably started out innocent too.
Okay, but his club had Berryheart in it.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I don't think his club started with Berryheart because, Berryheart was pretty Shadow Clan first for a while.
Guys, okay, so for this group project, we're gonna find out who has been making noise outside of our camp.
Okay, but how do we do that? I've got it, says the genius Starling Paw. We sneak out of camp, and then we climb trees. I
Guys,
think...
do you remember that Sky Clan does that?
I think I might be the next Firestar. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn.
Stop leaking! Jeez! We weren't supposed to tell them that we already know what happens.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Like, this very much is the book where I finally said, okay, I can deal with Starling Paw. I like the direct consequences they're showing, not just for him being a jerk, but for the adults around him enabling this behavior and very clearly leading to his decline. It's a nicely written arc. I like it. We'll see where they go with it, but it's nice so far. All right. Does anyone have any thoughts on Starling Paw himself or his general group before I move on to bullet point the last?
Yeah, I've kind of just been staring at that specific bullet point with the ellipses there. I feel like this is important to the conversation to address.
It was just funny.
Well, you can't just say it's funny. We haven't even announced what it is yet.
Yeah, I know, but it's funny.
Trust us. It's
remember
really
how
funny.
I mentioned earlier that I'm dreading a reality where all three of our protagonists are in a bland romance? Well, apparently that includes Starling Paw. One of the members of Starling Paw's secret group is a warrior named Beasting. These two apparently like each other.
Okay.
I don't see the point.
I don't know if Beasting knows that.
Okay, Starling Paw definitely likes Beasting. We don't know.
I think that
Beasting's
Beasting is admiring of him in the same way that all of those cats are admiring of him. Mm-hmm. But I think that that any sort of hypothetical relationship that Starling Paw has with Beasting is something that Starling Paw has decided on.
He has imagined the whole scenario in his head.
Beasting is the stem leaf of Starling Paw.
Oh man, are they gonna stem leaf a boy?
Oh, that would be incredible. Please stem leaf a boy.
They've never done that. Yeah, because all these little boys, they always see the older girl, and they're like, and then they get her.
Yeah, that's why my immediate assumption when Starling Paw started liking the older girl, who is fully in awe of his amazing coolness, that it was going to end up being that Starling Paw eventually confesses and Beasting says, "I love you too," and they get together.
I mean, it might be like that, but I just don't think that Beasting's in on it, because like the way that it's phrased is Starling Paw going, "And you're cute."
Yeah.
I had the quote pulled up. It says, "And you're pretty cute." Starling Paw liked Beasting's beautifully groomed tabby and white fur, the white parts sparkling clean. I'll think about that later when I have my warrior name.
Yeah, so like he's planning.
So he's like objectifying her basically.
Yeah.
So I don't think they would take that approach if they wanted to if they were portraying this as a genuine relationship. I don't think they'd start with that. I think that's why this is the stem leaf situation. Especially because like Bristlepaw, the same thing where like as soon as I become a warrior, I'm gonna ask Stemleaf out.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. I would be so thrilled if they stem-leafed Starling Paw. That would be wonderful. Because, even outside of the little boys, the last time we had a sort of antagonist POV character in Clear Sky, he got every woman. Everyone loved him. And I would love for them to not do that.
Oh, run, Beasting. Start running.
But also after that quote, Akira, specifically the part of, "Oh, I'll think about that when I get my warrior name," reminds me so vividly of being a 12-year-old or so and doing very stupid Warrior Cats role plays on forums or at recess, where you would enter the scene as brand new kittens. You've just created these characters, and within 5 minutes, everyone in the group had said, "And I'm going to be mates with you, and I'm going to be mates with you," and I'm crushed because my chosen spouse as a 1 moon old kitten has already been stolen. Just the energy of planning that early.
You could really just describe Starling Paw's whole thing as like an overambitious role player in a role play that isn't focused on them.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
An apprentice is taking over the plot. Go on over here.
I think I described that in the last podcast we did, where he's basically like he's the perspective of a background cat who wants to be the main character.
Yeah.
And I wasn't confident in that as a full story before. But it really is the adults in this story that finally sold me on him. I freaking hate Starling Paw's mentor, and thus I love Starling Paw's mentor. It's so nice to have bad behavior propagated by really bad mentor figures. That being said, I think at this point we have covered everything I wanted to cover. Were there any last thoughts people wanted to share about anything?
His mentor did nothing wrong.
His mentor did many things wrong. Don't listen to that.
No, you just hate her for no reason.
Because she's doing bad things that are impacting bad behavior.
She's inspiring confidence in an anxious child.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I came into this, I was still a little hot off the press. I did a reread literally the day before, just to reassess my opinion of the book, and I went into it fairly negative, but it's kind of, you guys have convinced me this is more of a middle of the pack type of thing that's going on here, and there's a lot of threads that could actually go somewhere, so hopefully they follow through.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of this book depends on the next book and whether or not they make something of this, of what they built.
I started off being middle of the pack. I think I've been convinced at this point that there's definitely more I like about it than that I don't. I still dread the thought of ending this arc with every chapter being a bland romance between our protagonists and another cat. But it depending on how they take it, if they avoid a lot of the pitfalls, this could be really good. And there was enough quality characterization in this book for me to more or less like it, regardless of where the arc ends up.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Check on to the next one.
But, okay, Darktale's Judgment, right?
Dark Tale's
What are
Judgment.
they even gonna do? What are they even gonna add? Like, what is gonna be revealing or interesting about Dark Tale's Judgment?
I think the only thing new they're adding is a romance.
With what?
I don't know. They'll make someone up.
Hey, we're hoping you didn't read One Star's god-awful book. Read this one instead, and let's have it be even more bad.
Okay, One Star's book probably covers a lot of this ground,
It did.
and
It's like even like Shattered
Shadows?
Skies, like even Shattered Skies One Star's like backstory
Oh, yeah.
chapter. He like already covered all the spoilers.
it's pretty in depth, yeah?
We have at this point in depth covered the entirety of Dark Tale's life.
We've even seen him become a ghost and die as a ghost.
Yeah.
There's nothing to care about. So I'm just worried. Like, okay, I was really excited for Riverstar because I thought that they were going to go into like post Dawn of the Clan stuff that they hadn't tackled before, and they technically
They were
did.
forced
And I
to
think
for
that
about
the book,
half of the book or so.
I think the book turns good at chapter 18.
Yeah.
But that's chapter 18, and the previous 18 chapters are all just like, here's a thing that you saw from Dawn of the Clans from a different perspective, and also the perspective reframes it to make nothing make sense. And it just like why did you just rehash things you already wrote?
Not even rehashing all the time, but over the last several super editions, they and any of the ones involving characters we know, they have gotten into a bad habit of just straight up copy pasting chapters but changing the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
So
Apparently, this is Dark Tales made a Clarissa book.
I don't even know if she can save the dog.
I like Clarissa and I want to trust Clarissa, but I'm worried that this will be the Warrior Cats book equivalent of a clip show.
I mean, that's what
Well,
Leopard Star's Honor was.
it's already
That's
happened.
what One Star's Confession was.
Yeah. I think it's going to be
4 out of-
worse. There's
4 out of 5
literally no
super
part of the
editions
story we
released.
haven't already seen.
Like, okay, I don't really like any of the Super Edition prequels. I don't really like it when a Super Edition is entirely a prequel, especially of events that we already know happened. But at least when Vicky did it, she made up a bunch of stuff. She just went she went wild and was like, here's this, here's that situation, here's this thing. Like there are so many things that happen in Blue Star's story, even though I think the Blue Star story does a lot of damage to Warrior Cats as a series overall. There's a lot of things that happen in Blue Star's story where I go, yeah, that's really like that's really engaging stuff. That's really interesting stuff. Same with Tall Star, same with Crooked Star, and that's everything I'm gonna say there.
They added plenty to Yellowfang's Secret. It's just that none
Don't
of it
worry
was
about
good.
But like, when the new team does a prequel Super Edition, a backstory Super Edition, they just kind of rehash a whole bunch of stuff that we're already aware of, and that's so like they don't add anything that's substantial or interesting enough to warrant the fact that they even wrote this book.
Yeah.
And like Dark Tales specifically, as a character that we know so much about, they definitely could take a period of time that's like that's from his perspective, right? Because we don't see like inside the kin early on. We don't see it until Violet Shine is involved. And we don't see the kin like forming. We don't see his early life with his mother firsthand. But I think all of that stuff is going to be as glazed over as possible to overfocus on things we've already seen.
Yeah.
I just don't trust after the Riverstar.
It's like it's so hard with the super editions because they're so long. There's so many pages. Just like
I don't think it would be
Like when you
hard if
have,
they
like-
cared about what they were writing.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, while Leopard
And-
Star's Honor is like the longest book in the entire franchise now at this point. Like, am I right? I mean,
I
just
don't
looking
know.
at it's right next to me, and I'm seeing the binding. It is huge. It is so big. I
But
mean,
for
like
what
the actual
reason?
physical book.
I don't have physically most of the recent super editions, so I can't compare directly, but I'd believe it.
I've been ebooking everything that isn't a graphic novel. I really want to own the graphic novels. I really have like determination to own them and have them, but like everything else is just on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for derailing there.
That's okay. That is a good wrap-up topic. At this point, I will say we do not come together for the super editions, thank goodness, because we could not talk this long about clip shows.
We would also kill each other.
We would also kill each other. But we will come back together for Hidden Moon, Changing Skies. I got that right?
What?
Isn't that this
No.
book?
No?
It's Guiding Light. The Hidden Moon was
Guiding
last book.
Light! Gosh darn it!
Guiding Light.
I'm losing all sense
Oh,
of
dude,
reality.
I forgot.
It was so
they even put up
easy.
a cover for that.
When they were
hidden-
named Star, Wind, Sky,
Mhm.
Thunder, and Star, I could remember what book we were reading.
Yeah. I don't know what any of this has to do with any of the book's contents, so the names are all just jumbles in my head. But we will be back for Guiding Light, Changing Skies in probably late October or November. Until then, I will say goodbye to you all. Thank you for stopping by. I love chatting with you.
Goodbye
Yeah, no
forever.
problem. Business as usual. Chat, like the video. Do it now. Do it now.
Bye, everyone.